If you need any quick references, I'll turn around and look, and we might not be able to match it up.
It's like how when you turn around, it looks like you're just staring at Gabriella.
Oh.
Okay, that's weird.
You want to test out the hand thing real quick, Jose, with the reactions? Didn't you want to do that last time?
Oh shit!
I mean, we could try to do that, yeah, if you guys want. If you guys want to like speak up, like hit any emoji.
How do you? So, is there a way to like make you guys bigger?
That's what she said. Damn it!
Okay, yeah, no, like this is good. Okay, I think this will.
Did you do the view where you can see all 5 people?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's the best way to do it because then you can see this. I wish you could do the middle finger emoji. That's the one I would use.
Okay, so wait, how do you do it again?
Okay.
So at the bottom,
and it goes reactions.
And then you'll either have a clap or a thumbs up, which is weird because you imagine having a meeting and it's like, what if you don't want any of those reactions, but you also don't want to take yourself off mute?
Yeah, okay, you did it.
Oh, Carlos raised his hand. I'll lower your hand, Carlos, because it allows me to.
What?
Okay, so you can do it? You can take these off?
Well, I can take, like, if somebody raises their hand, because I don't know if you see, where is that even, Carlos? Is it in the chat somewhere?
I don't know. I put it on more, and it says raise hand or.
Where'd you get more?
And one final question. What did Brink's dad get injured? I know he's got injured, but what did he get, like, body injured-wise? Was it his leg?
Back.
His back. Yeah. And with that, I've actually been recording. So if you guys are ready to kick it off, welcome to another episode of the Hijacked Jobycast boys, talking about Disney classic original movies. Everybody loves this. I'm getting rave reviews by like the 2 people that heard it, including all of us here in this chat right now.
Yeah.
This week we're reviewing the great Disney classic original movie Brink! Exclamation point, not to be doubted. There's an exclamation point in the title. It came out in 1998. It starred Eric Von Decker and Sam Harrigan. Prior to this, I was telling these guys I was actually doing some research on my boy EVD. Did you know that he actually voiced a character in Toy Story 1?
Which character?
He was Sid Phillips in Toy Story, a.k.a.
The bad kid.
The bad kid.
The bad kid, he was?
Dude, you know what?
He looks just like him.
Wait, Val? Val from Brink did Sid?
No. Eric Von Decker.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought the bad guy of Brink looks like the kid from Toy Story 1.
It's his damn eyebrows.
The good
now I'm gonna
guy.
watch that shit tonight. I gotta watch it tonight. The good guy played
Sid Phillips. And I guess he also was in Toy Story 3 because he makes an appearance. Or Sid comes back as like a garbage man, I think, in Toy Story 3. Also, in doing further digging on his Wikipedia page, he was also featured in the 2009 Jesse James video for Wanted. I took a listen. She's like a country artist, I guess. But he just plays like
Eric Decker's wife.
No. Is it? Is that Eric Decker's wife?
James Decker, I believe.
Oh, you're right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense because I was very confused because his name's Eric Von Decker and she was Jesse James Decker. Now all the pieces are kind of coming together for me.
She can get it.
So we should introduce ourselves so people know where to provide a claim to.
Classic Juan.
Yeah, go ahead. This is Jose.
This is Juan.
Yo, this is Chase telling you to skate better.
Skate better. This is
skate
Carlos.
better. This is Tony.
As he's rubbing his eyes.
Sick with it. Cool. So like, we can just jump right in. For Brink, I think across the board, when we mention Brink, it's like one of those movies that everybody seems to really like remember and gravitates towards. Possibly as one of the better Disney classic original movies. Granted, there's a bunch that were released, but I think this is one that almost every single person can say that they remember watching and remember liking. What I actually remembered about this movie was like the soundtrack. It actually had some like bangers in the actual thing. Did you know that there's only 4 songs featured in this movie?
Yes.
Oh,
And the first one is used, I think, like 3 times. Or like their main is used like 3 times throughout the movie.
Yeah, there's the main one, and then there's like an apology one where he goes and says sorry. And then there's like one for the competitions that they just use for like all the competitions across the way.
I'd like to think because this movie is rollerblading or inline skating. I like to think that if Tony Hawk's Pro Skater doesn't come out around the same time, do we live in a world where inline skating is popular and not skateboarding? Because I feel like somebody wrote, this is the best inline skating movie like of all time. And I thought to myself, I was like, I think it's the only rollerblading movie.
If you ask Carlos, that is incorrect.
Yeah. I accidentally thought Brink was airborne.
Oh, yeah.
What is it, 1993?
Yeah, I looked up.
I don't know why.
I had no idea what you were talking about, and I was like, "Holy shit!" There is another inline skating movie that came out 5 years before Brink did.
I might say it's even a little bit better.
Whoa!
Because they do a
really?
downhill race. They do a same downhill race.
God, you are.
But I think it's like teams. You know, I think it's like 5 against 5, and it gets brutal in there.
I mean, if we want to go best inline skating representation, it's definitely Rocket Power.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say ATL.
All right.
Well, all right.
Let's hop back into Brink.
Real quick, did anyone here have rollerblades? I did.
I did.
Yes.
I hate rollerblading and roller skating and ice skating. I'm pretty decent at a lot of things, like relatively athletic. I would say maybe average at a lot of things. Roller skating, rollerblading, ice skating, anything with skate in the word, I am not good at. So I oppose the act of doing these things, but the movie either way was still top notch.
So you're saying that you hated the movie ATL?
Ooh.
That is correct.
Shout out to you.
Am I the only one who noticed that there is no love, like, scenes or anything in this movie?
Oh yeah,
It's
I was
all,
thinking
it's all
it was
about
going to
skating.
be.
yeah. Like in the beginning, I'm thinking that like maybe because like, what's her name? What's the lady?
Gabriella and Pete.
Gabriella?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought because like she was so mean to Pete, I was like, okay, they're gonna get it in later. But I guess you're just too much of a little nerd or something.
Well, she was nice to him. Gave him her shoes.
I think the only love story in this scenario is Tony and Brink's mom.
Oh.
Not even Brink's
Okay.
dad and Brink's mom.
Even back then, like when I first watched it, when I was like whatever 8, 9, and
I mean, we even go further. There are some eye looks between Val and Brink. I mean,
Also
it's really.
true.
I mean, they're like
They
This
get like
turns into a
face to
liberal
face a
movie
couple
and-
times.
yeah,
Oh
Those
yeah.
are-
I mean,
Eskimo kisses.
yeah.
No, but for real though, like, and you know, like you see like people around town, like whenever you walk in and you see like a couple, and you're like, how the fuck does that work? Brink's mom and Brink's dad. That shit did not make no sense. You know,
So out of this entire movie, you're coming with Brink's mom and dad together.
Yeah,
as
well, that's the
least
most- that's-
realistic.
most important things. That's what I'm going to start with. Is she is way too good for him, and like he's a dick. Like he's a fucking like he's moping around the house because he can't work. Bad attitude. She's going to work, fucking happy. She's coming to work, coming back from work, and she sees him. He's like, "Oh, you're fucking kids," and she just like, "Smile, man. You got me. Look at this. You should be more happy."
But we'll get
Wow.
there.
Well, speaking of, we get introduced to everybody kind of in that first scene where it's Brink waking up. I think he's like waking up late, getting ready, like scrambling around to get to like the bus that's gonna take him to the spot where they skate at. But like a straight up savage, Brink is just chugging chocolate syrup. I don't know
He's
if you guys
foraging.
yeah. And so he's also rocking a Walkman as he's doing all this stuff. Like this guy is a straight savage. And I think that's where you kind of get like that first indication of like his dad and his mom and like how they treat him. His mom's like super supportive and super nice, while his dad's like, "Why are you such a piece of shit? Like, get out of here." I just thought it was a really cool way to start the movie, that Brink is obviously a rebel and does whatever he wants. And it shows that very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think Brink is definitely like he's just the great Disney Channel character. Like he's lovable, he's so happy, he's cool, he's running around. You know, obviously, like, you know, he's the leader of the group just by seeing him run around the house. And then I believe at one point, just for the kids at home, he goes, "What up, Dad?" And his dad goes, "English, that's what it's up." And I was like, damn, this kid is cool.
So
No,
cool.
and
We
like-
ended up using another word called like chornage, like in the very beginning. Like I had no idea what that meant. I just wrote it down because I was taken aback by that particular slang.
I just
Like
I think
Brink
that-
would
I think
Brink
the
would
movie had-
thrive. Go ahead. Juan.
Real-
No, I was gonna say Brink would thrive in today's society with these kids and these youths using words like lit and fam.
Yeah,
Like
he said
Tony
fam.
mentioned, he was one
He
of the
said
first ones
fam.
to say fam.
this
He
was
does-
like what, like 15 years ago?
He also says Gabriella, that dress is fat. And I
PH
don't
fat.
think fat.
Ew.
I think fat started coming out like 2 years after Brink.
Yeah, PH too. He emphasized that.
Yeah,
No,
I had closed
texted you.
captioning on and it was PH.
Yeah, I texted you like, dude, this kid Brink invented the word fam. Like the way we see it today, he used that shit. Like when did this movie come out?
98, dude. We were 8 or
Dude,
9.
so that over 20 years ago, white dude,
Brink-
and then yeah, see, dude,
He was ahead of his time. Yeah. And like, so in this scene, right, like he like runs out of his house and all his friends are just waiting for him at the bus stop. They're obviously going to miss the bus because of Brink. What a shitty friend. I think we all have somebody in our lives that always is like late to everything and ruins everything. Juan.
Carlos.
Whoa.
Brink straight up lies to his friends because we clearly see Brink wake up late, right? And he runs all around the house, and then he finally gets out of the house, and then his friends go, "Where were you?" And he goes, "Oh, my mom made me clean up my room." You're like, "You're a liar, Brink. You woke up late. We watched you."
The trend.
Why
dude.
didn't he
It's
skate
foreshadowing.
there in the first time? You know, it's
Also
just
another
like,
good question.
and
Tried putting on roller skates. It fucking sucks, man.
so what was the other friend's name? There's Pete, and then there's the other one.
There's Jordy.
Jordy
Jordy and Gabrielle.
won because Pete's like, "What do you think he's at?" And Jordy just goes into like the worst case scenarios. He's dead. He definitely got hit by a car. Like he just starts like naming off all these crazy scenarios where like, the dude is no longer alive. And that is like, I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, Juan, chill.
Dude, they say, "Oh, go on, Jose. I'll let you go."
No, I was gonna say like that's where you get that line where Gabrielle's like, "Yeah, like what if he was abducted by aliens?" And Jordy's like, "Dude, don't say that. My uncle got, or that happened to my uncle." And you're like, "Jordy, who are you?"
I just think
Yeah.
what character do you guys think? What friend would you be out of the Brink friends?
Well, clearly Brink.
Dude,
Not Jordy.
I'm more of a Pete, I
I think
think.
Gabriella. I'm a Gabriella.
Oh, Tony is definitely a Gabriella.
Yeah.
Do we not have a Brink? Because I'm definitely Jordy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to say I'm probably a Pete.
Yeah.
I think Carlos is Brink.
I think
Carlos
I
is
think
Brink. Look, he's got the helmet
I
down.
mean,
He's got the look.
I got the
Yeah.
helmet and everything.
unstrapped, you know, just soul skating, like through life, dude.
Well, and I think here's the part too, like when they all just determine like, hey, we're gonna miss the bus. How are we gonna get there in time? And they're just like, oh, let's just skate down. And everybody's like so opposed. Like they're big time skaters, they're soul skaters, yet they're refusing to use their skates to get to wherever they need to go. And then I think Brink delivers like the like iconic first line of many lines that he drops is, did you wake up today thinking today I was gonna talk or today am I gonna skate? And then they're just like, damn, dude, that strikes too deep into the hearts of us soul skaters right here.
I would love to see the real distance because Jordy, the kid, goes, "We can't skate there. It's a million miles away." And then Brink says that line that Jose just said, and then he goes, "Okay, I'll put on my skates then."
Yeah,
but
it's like a pushover.
Maybe he was just like trying to conserve his energy for practice.
That's
Maybe.
true.
One being like a real thinker, and not one to waste any energy.
That brings us to the pit.
Well, yeah, you get the montage of them on their way to the pit, and they're just like causing havoc along the way. They're just
Fucking reckless, dude.
just like
Absolutely
ruining people's
reckless.
lunches, like just fucking wrecking shit. Like everybody's about to like crash and burn, and just like no regard to human life.
Dude,
Like, anybody else want like while they're like going down that hill, you can see them all like kind of like hunching down to like gain speed. Anybody just be like, I wish one of them would fucking fall right now. Like that'd be so funny. Because this was after they're fucking like jumping over tables where people are having lunch. Like, is that necessary, dickheads? Like people are just trying to enjoy like the nice day out, having lunch with their friends and family, and you're just like, I want to fuck with these people. Like
this literally
Like, respect people's spaces. Why are you guys shit on everybody?
This movie literally starts the same way Xenon does. And for those listeners who listened to last week, you get a little double dosage. The Disney Channel movies just love having kids just run through people's shit. Like, they don't care. I don't know if that was, like, cool back in the day, but Tony's absolutely right, where it's like, these people probably bought, like, a $5-6 lunch, and it's just instantly destroyed by these skater kids. And then they just go, sorry, and then they keep going down.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you think? Just an apology? Like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. What were you meaning to fucking do? What are you apologizing for? If you're going to be a dick, be a dick. Don't fucking apologize because that's fake. Because you meant to do that shit. You meant to disrupt their fucking lunch, jump over their shit, get with inches of your blade to their face. How are you like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do it. No, that's exactly what you meant. Just keep going.
That's Tony's monologue for being part of Team Xbladz. Tony's pure Team Xbladz in this movie.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, Chase, like they end up in like this pit, right? Which is like, I guess, one of the more popular places for people to skate at. And like I said, they're doing kind of their cool moves. And also like what I thought was really funny is, you know, they're wearing like full equipment at all times, right? They have like shoulder pads or like elbow pads, and knee pads. But like anytime I saw anybody like skateboarding or inline skating, never wore any of that stuff in like real life. I always thought it was really funny. That's like, maybe it's like the Disney in them that having to like send a message to like kids out there, be like, hey, if you're gonna do this, make sure that you look like these guys. Like, make sure that you're wearing all your gear, minus Brink not buckling his fucking hat at any given point during the movie.
You're right. He straps up with his pads, but he never clips the helmet until he does. Spoiler alert! Anytime he does an Xbladz thing, he clips his helmet. But when he's a soul skater, he keeps it unbuckled.
That's how he shows defiance, saying, fuck you guys, I hate you guys so much that I'm going to protect my own head from crashing into things.
Yeah, that's how you can tell he's not 100% in on Team Xbladz.
And like
because he put the helmet on.
While they're in the pit, like, they see that this guy is like with a camera, and they're like, oh my God, is that a guy from like the inline skating magazine? Like, does this happen just often where there's just like random guys with cameras like ready to shoot, and they had to like prove themselves to this guy? Where, like I said, another iconic line by Brink where he says, let's show them what soul skating is all about, like in the cheesiest, most like awkward manner possible. But then what happens? None other than Team Xbladz shows up with their leader of the team, Val. So like as Brink's trying to like shred shit, he goes up for a jump, or I think he like tries to go up on a ramp, and Val comes out of nowhere, right? Because like they want to like take over the pit for their like shoot or whatever. And then in the most violent crash like I think I've ever seen that caused no harm, like Brink gets like pushed off to the side and hits like a concrete ledge, and just out of nowhere, like nothing happened. He like stands up.
Yeah, his helmet doesn't fly off, even though it's clearly not buckled.
Yeah. So now we see Team Xbladz, we're introduced to these guys, and when we see, I don't know the name, if it's to do with the spiky hair and the necklace and the earring.
I believe he's called Worm at one point by Gabriella, but I don't know if he has a name other than that.
Yeah, let's just call him Worm. Does this guy not look like he has been sharing needles with his parents since he was like 4?
He definitely.
Blink-182.
I thought for a second this was Never Been Kissed, the first movie, and he was undercover as a high school student because he clearly looks like he's like 35 years old.
You see like these like older people playing like high school students or junior high students or whatever. This guy was 30. Like,
let's say, and then you have the only black kid in all America playing.
Boomer.
You mean the Black Power Ranger?
Thank you, Carlos.
With the worst fucking hairline. The worst fucking lineup ever.
Wait, was he really the Black Power Ranger?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought
he's the original.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
He was gonna smash Kimberly, like no doubt. But
he was the Black Power Ranger.
Yeah,
he was a lot smaller. Like he seemed a lot like taller and buffer in Power Rangers, and he actually comes off of in Brink.
Well, this was before Power Rangers. Before they got him.
He's got a big ass head, but that does not excuse the lineup that barber. Dude, that thing was done by a protractor. Like they would literally just like put the protractor up to his head, and they're just like zzz, all the way around. That thing, because people like that. That thing was the most round. It's like he had to go to like Great Clips, or what's the other one?
On the Monday morning.
Supercuts or whatever. Don't knock it right now. I would kill for Supercuts right now.
Me too.
Me too.
Also, the guy who's the bad guy in fucking the movie, his name is Val. Like, how is that not the most bad guy sounding name ever? Like, it could be anything in the world, but they chose Val. It just like felt too perfect for me that I had to mention it.
Val's my boy. I'm going down straight up. I'm putting it down. Val has the most character development in this movie, even though he doesn't change at the end. Val is a man who is determined. He made the leader of the Xbladz, which I don't think is a hard. I think that's pretty hard feat, because whatever Brink had to do at the end of the movie to get to be offered that, he did a lot. But Val got a bad rap, and it's not like Val was always the dick. Like the skateboarder incident, the worm eating incident, the chocolate shake incident. Like Val took his punches too. So I just want to get that started at the beginning of the podcast that I'm Team Val. So there you go.
He looks like he's like, just like when you look at him. Yeah, thank you, Jose. You look at the evil.
That guy looks like a dick, dude. Guaranteed.
This guy looks to wreck lives. Like these guys on Team Pup and Suds, yeah, they'll fuck you up. All right, but they're not gonna ruin your life.
Do we ever see Val pull any moves?
Yeah, he does. Like when he's in that competition or in the championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gets like a 98 at one point, and then.
Oh yeah. Because at one point he's like, "I've been carrying the team," and you just like, "I did not see nothing."
Well, to his credit, like I said, he was like always the bad guy, but he like legitimately is one of the better skaters in the world, according to the movie later on. Just like it's well known that he's like one of the top skaters in like the nation or whatever. Mm-hmm. Also, a few funny things about this scene, because like they get into like an altercation or whatever. Brink is actually wearing a shirt that says "Pure Soul." I don't know if anybody caught that.
I didn't know. I did not.
And then your boy with like the spiky hair like yells at Gabriella. It's like, "Hey, are you impersonating a boy?" And then Gabriella with the sickest burn ever. She's like, "No, you." Like, oh shit, dude. I fucking lost it, dude. Like the sick burns in these Disney classic original movies are just unmatched. And I think it's like something they chose to do over and over and over again. And it was really cool to see that in this particular scene.
So I like how if you would be called a wuss would be the baddest or worst thing that could happen to you. Is like, you're not gonna be a wuss, are you?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, don't call me out like that.
Did the fourth? There's 4 members of Team Xbladz. I don't remember the fourth one ever saying a word.
No,
I think I think he's just an actual like professional skater, so they didn't have to get as many stuntmen. Because I noticed like when he went, it was him when he was doing the tricks. I think they just said, "Sit here with Team Xbladz, don't talk."
No,
he looked like a Backstreet Boy.
Yeah, there's a couple scenes later on where he's sitting on the couch like, "What do you think we should do?" And he literally goes, "I don't know, man. No, we shouldn't do that." And like literally that's all he says the whole entire movie.
Killed it.
But just kind of like wrapping up what happened in this scene, I think in the end, like Brink kind of gets the final say because Val takes the pit away from them and lets Team Xbladz kind of like shoot their like inline magazine shoot that they were gonna do. But Brink goes over to all those skater guys who look like the most like douchebaggy skater guys ever. I'm pretty sure they're rocking like puka shells and like gas station sunglasses, like the most perfect. Yes, pugs. And then tells them that like the way he does it too, he's just like, "Hey, is it true that all skaters are like, you know, terrible and they're just like shitty people?" And they're like, "What the fuck you say?" And he's like, "Well, not me. I'm not saying that, but those guys over there are saying it."
Which is funny because it's like he goes up and he goes, "I heard that skateboarders are just in skate wannabes." And it's like, what? And then he points to the team for the audience that maybe hasn't seen Brink. the Xbladz kids are all in uniform. Like, you can tell they're clearly doing a photo shoot, but this skateboarder guy's like, oh, I'll take care of them. And then they skateboarders bust in and just start roughing up these poor inline skater kids.
No, another thing though, like when they first watched it and they did the whole montage thing, when they were actually like in the pit, like the Brink and his friends, everybody around was like, "Oh yeah!"
They were cheering and clapping, like they were like pumped up to see them. They're like they had a crowd for whatever reason.
Like everyone was like freaking out, like yes, yes. And then like, but while Pete goes over and tries to do his 540 and eats shit, nobody is like, oh. But all of a sudden, Val turns around, not fucking seeing what happened, just hears the collision, turns around. Oh, yeah, he dipped his shoulder too early. How the fuck do you know? You did not see this shit.
Dude, Val is everywhere. I realized in this movie that at the most opportune time, Val is just always around. Whether it's at the pit, during lunch, during cooking class, he found a way to just be there. It was the weirdest assortment of things.
No hall pass needed.
Yeah, like the skaters like push Val, and then in like the weirdest like scene, Val looks over at Brink and all his friends, and they're all just like weirdly pointing at him, just like got you, as if like the skaters wouldn't hear them or like say anything. I don't know. I thought it was a weird way to kind of like end that scene.
Yeah. So then this is leading up to. This is the last weekend. All this is going on the last weekend before school starts.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Of course.
Remember, we ever find out how old they are, or
I don't know. So we think
in high school age, I would guess.
They have enough confidence to where they're not freshmen. They got to be like at least I think sophomores, juniors.
For sure.
But I think they're not thinking about school. They're thinking about skating.
Speaking of, so in this like next scene, we get to hear like Brink getting ready for school. And so it's like this weird scene between him and his mom and his dad and his sister, where his dad's like, why isn't Brink a normal kid? He's excited to go to school. Why can't you be like Katie? Katie is like the number one child in this house. And you're like, your kind of dad is just like obviously like picking favorites in front of his face.
Well, it's not just that. It's more he's like pissed off that his son is so happy. Like you want your kids to be fucking happy. He's like, no kid should be that happy. Look at our daughter. She's like pissed most of the time. He should be more like just like.
So you come to realize that the dad has depression because, spoiler, he lost his job and his entire identity. So he's blaming it on his son. It's like, how the fuck can you be so happy if I'm so miserable, kind of thing.
But at this time, he hadn't lost his job yet. He was just still on.
No, he's been laid off at the very beginning. Yeah. Oh, disability.
He's on disability.
But at the same time, though, it's like still got a hot ass wife.
Maybe he couldn't perform to that hot ass wife.
Oh,
damn.
Here we go. Jobycast Hijacked Deep Talk. Here we go. Let's start it off.
Go for it.
Like, no, my favorite line from the dad, he's just like, look at Katie. She's the future of this family. Like, the burden is on, like, a 12-year-old little girl to, like, solve it. Also, Katie, the queen of burns as well. Like, as we talk about kids who, like, just talk shit and, like, burn, like, their family members, Katie's always bringing that fire.
But can we say that she did not mean to be funny in any of these? She fucking meant this shit. She was being mean.
Yeah, no, she was a dick.
She was not a nice fucking sister. Yeah, so
she looks exactly like she does in the movie Smart House. So I can't get over that. I just think she's the exact same character from Smart House and Brink.
They just like plugged and played her from.
Yeah, they're just like, don't change. Like you see,
she was like filming both movies at the same time.
Yeah, that's probably what they did. They're just like, oh, she doesn't have great range. We gotta fucking like mold this shit together. And they probably did like CGI and just had it in Smart House.
Yeah, and so like next we get to see Brink actually go to school, and so we actually get a clip of like I think it's Jordy, Pete, and Brink like sitting down, talking to each other about skating or whatever else they love, and then Brink's like, guys, did you hear about Gabriella? And then Pete's like, no, what? And then it's like a slow-mo cam, and it like goes over to like the bus stop, and it's Gabriella rocking a dress.
Why did it look like a Mormon dress too? It was like it was a horrible dress. I know Peruvians and they don't wear that kind of dresses.
Yeah, Carlos, they wear it to school.
Dude, I think you guys should break down exactly who Gabrielle is for the crowd. For the people who maybe have not seen Brink.
She's not Mexican. She's Peruvian. That's one thing that she made clear, and that is not like Carlos said. That's not a traditional like Peruvian dress. That was some like
that was some Amish shit.
Yeah, that was exactly like somebody knit that. That wasn't something that was like not like in a factory knit. That was like some people that are like doing this like out of the kindness of their heart. That's that kind of knitting, and they gave this to the Peruvians, and they're like, "Oh, this is perfect for my daughter on her first day of school. I'm gonna make her wear this." But like other like just teenage daughters in general rebelling, she's got a extra pair of clothes in her bag. But did she wear that dress the entire day?
No,
no. She eventually switches.
Well,
she said she does.
Dress because she was going to wear the shoes, but spoiler alert, Val took, I don't know if it was Jordy's or Pete's shoes.
It was Pete's.
That were tied up, threw them against a power line, and they got stuck up there, and that's when Gabrielle offered.
Have you tried throwing a shoe up on a power line?
First try, dude.
First try. What kind of bullshit is that?
Am I horrible at throwing it? But yeah, it takes me forever.
Dude, guys, this is the top
I've never done it,
in the U.S. He's athletic.
It's not his first time he's thrown shoes on.
Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. It's like watching John Wick.
But like, and I think somebody mentioned, I think maybe it was you, Tony, that Brink calls Gabriella's dress fat, and like she just like ignores the compliment completely, just like, screw you, Brink, you don't know my life.
Shout out to Gabriella being ahead of the curve and going for gender equality way early. Saying, hey, quit saying guys.
I'm a girl. She was a feminist, dude. You can guarantee it.
Yeah, dude. Straight up feminist.
He has some small feet, too, to be able to fit into those shoes.
Well, she said, like, you know, if you don't tighten them or if you don't, you know, not.
I don't care, though. I wouldn't be able to fit. Like,
but he tied them shits, though.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Jose, can I have small shoes, right?
Jose, can I have the honor of introducing what is my favorite scene of the entire movie?
I mean, go for it.
Okay, so next it's over, right? And Val gets the head of it. And then we move to their in science class. They have a very boring teacher. But we start with a shot on just a case of worms. Their teacher, who gives zero fucks about explaining their syllabus, just decides to start teaching them about worms. Then it cuts to all four of the Soul Skaters sitting there, and Brink goes, I got a plan. And they go, what kind of plan do you think of? And then our boy, who's scared, leans over and goes, be careful what you do to Val. He ain't playing with a whole deck of cards if you catch my drift. And then Brink goes, don't worry, I got the perfect plan. And then again, they lean over again and say, well, what is it? And he points to the crate of earthworms everywhere.
Doesn't point. Smile.
Yeah, he does. He points like he goes like this. He goes like this. And if you can't see me, he goes like that. He double points at the worms in the tank. And then it cuts to Val at lunch with the Xbladz kids. And what happens next?
Okay, so like this is actually I don't know if you guys noticed this because for whatever reason I was like paying really close attention to just like stupid shit while I was doing it. Have you guys ever made a bologna sandwich? Like for me as a child, I make a bologna sandwich. It's just like bread, mayo, bologna, maybe cheese, but then bread. Like nothing else in the sandwich. Do you guys put anything else in your sandwiches?
I'm the same.
Okay,
so cheese guy only.
So in Val's sandwich, there's a piece of lettuce. And like I don't think I've ever put lettuce on a bologna sandwich. I thought it was just the most bizarre thing. And I don't know why it like stuck out to me.
So how come this guy is a sponsored skater and he's eating bologna sandwiches?
Like the fact that this dude is a sponsored skater and he's still in a high school. Like, what the fuck, man? I figured like he would be in just high school somewhere, or at least forgone education and just made bank.
I never thought.
Did they have Lunchables back in the day?
I never thought about any of what you guys said, but now it all makes sense. The movie makes no sense. Why is Val in this school?
Well, maybe. Well, they never said anything about his parents. Maybe his parents aren't doing so good. They can't afford like a nice like private school or something like that.
Oh wait, no, I know what it is. The movie explains this. Earlier, the daughter, Brink's sister, says, "Why can't I be homeschooled?" And the mom says, "Because you're not Mormon." So maybe Val's not Mormon, so he has to go. Okay.
Makes all the sense, I guess. Also, like the elaborate ruse that they had to pull for them to like get the worms inside Val's sandwich. Like, I think Jordy spills his like milk, like very like on purposely, like on their thing. Somebody quickly grabs the sandwich, they put in the worms, they rewrap it up and then put it back.
Takes forever to clean that milk up.
Yeah. And also like when Val takes a bite of the worms and like pulls out, like how come the worms look so much different than when they put them in? You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a bizarre scene overall.
They were not going to make him actually eat worms, man.
Dude, make it look more realistic, I think.
Have some respect for your craft. Go on.
Those worms don't look real at all. They're like the cleanest gummy worms of like all time.
Yeah, they were like vanilla.
Carlos, you're the chef. Would you like to explain to us what kind of worms they were?
They're earthworms.
Nice.
Thanks, Carlos.
I'm going to make you believe that they were – I don't want you guys to ruin this movie for me. All right? They were real worms.
Damn.
My favorite part
wrestling's still real, all right?
And then my favorite part is not only did they do the plan, but they also choreographed their signage that when Val looked at him, some teacher goes up and goes, "What's the problem, Val?" And then he looks at the Soul Skaters, and they each pull up a piece of paper that says, one piece of paper says, "Don't then be a wuss."
Wuss, there it is again. Biggest bird.
Wuss.
Yeah. And then what does she say? Or he says like,
I thought I saw a bug or something.
Yeah. There was
like suck it up.
And she goes, "Well, get over it." Like, damn.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
You're weird. Like, what if he has arachnophobia? You're being a dick right now?
She's like pussy.
Yeah.
And then we get like the interaction between Val and Brink and his crew. It's like they obviously you think like they're gonna fight. Like I think in any normal situation they probably would have fight, but they're like, "Meet me out back."
Dance off.
Like, "Oh, we're gonna skate in like the back part of like the school." Or no, I think Boomer suggests that they should race instead of like do an altercation. And then obviously
you'll get in trouble.
Yeah, well, it's like not allowed in school. So Brink's like, "No, shouldn't do it." And then he's like, "Oh, I thought you," or like Val questions like Brink's heart in skating, like, "Oh, you do not believe in yourself?" Mm-hmm. And then without a moment to think about it, Brink's like, "Let's do it."
Dude, if it wasn't for that one kid on the Xbladz team who got injured, and he was the one that was kind of being like just cool with Val, I think Val like literally murders Brink.
I mean, he has to.
But I love how they like it's like, all right, how long is their fucking lunch, by the way? Because they have time to eat lunch, get in this altercation, and then be like, all right, we're gonna race. And it's not like they just like run over, put their skates on. They put all their fucking pads on.
Are they carrying their skates or are they in the locker rooms?
No, they had them. You see them like on their backpacks. They're like hanging from like a big one of those clips.
Oh,
got all this stuff, but it's like if it's just one race and they're not supposed to do it, so they're worried about getting caught. Why put all this shit on?
Safety first, dude.
But the skates, they're already breaking the rules. Fuck safety.
What's also worse? Like overall, dude, like I feel like this race was actually a pretty solid race. It looks like everybody was like up and running. Gabriella flirts a little bit with Backstreet Boy in the very beginning. What does she say? Something about like
I think it's something about being cute or something.
No, he's like, "That's what I like in a man." Like,
oh,
I can't remember what specifically it was. And then she like winks and then just
she's like, "Oh, you don't talk much. That's what I like in a man."
Oh yeah, so she called it out before we even said anything.
She knew.
That's why she's my girl.
Like, I like that man. Then he smiles, and then she just takes off. It's like, whoa, tease.
By the way, just to let you guys know, the picture behind me that the podcast people won't be able to see in our Zoom.
We'll upload it to the YouTube.
We thought it was her crashing, This is her when they were in home ec making cake.
Oh,
This was her
she got
cake
chocolate all
photo.
over her.
Like, who
When they
gets
were
that messy
all in
making
home
cake?
ec and they all were covered in chocolate and powder. We'll get into that. I just want to let you know.
I was gonna say her like arm was the one that was messed up, not her face. But yeah, so like this race goes on, right? And also like my favorite part, like low key about this movie, or one of my favorite parts, is the stunt double from Jordy. Like while he's skating, because obviously like Jordy's like a bigger guy, right? So he can like probably not be really good at moves, but his like skater looks like way thinner and just way different than him. So like as he's like jumping over like trash cans during the race, it looks like a totally different person. But yeah, like so we get to like the dramatic piece of this whole race, which is Boomer like during his race just fucking hammers a rail and just falls. And Brink, being the scholarly gentleman that he is, obviously like stops racing and like tries to help Boomer out, asks for a nurse, and doesn't finish the race.
But
Val finishes because
he fucking goes for it. And then comes back. What's going on?
It's a common theme for Brink. But I mean, how many people does Brink have to race that aren't gonna crash? Like everyone crashes when they race Brink.
But I love how like this is just like a fucking race for pride, obviously. But as soon as he stops to help the brother out,
Boomer,
like, what are you doing? Finish the race.
Like Boomer questions Brink, and I think that's where we see like Boomer switch completely of just like being Team Xbladz like douchebag to like nice person for like somebody looking out for him.
But I feel like he was always kind of like that one guy that was like cool with both sides, because in the beginning he's like, don't fight him. Like, fucking like chill out. If you want to do this race, we're not gonna fucking blows because this isn't that big a deal. You ate worms. Not the first time, not gonna be the last time, right? Everybody eats one.
Yeah, and so like, you know, obviously it's like a heartwarming moment between Brink and Boomer. But then we get like this awkward scene between Brink's dad and Brink, because obviously they all get suspended from school, and so like Brink's dad has to pick him up, and he's obviously like still out of work, like obviously like struggling financially. Like we start learning more about the dad and all his worries in life, and so like he's trying to explain why, or Brink's trying to explain to his dad why he needed to skate in the race. He's like, Dad, you don't understand, you're not listening to me, like they called us out, so like of course we had to do it. And like in his world, like that's good enough reason to just like break rules and do whatever. And his dad's just like, are you stupid? Like, what did you even learn today? And he's like, oh, that's right, you didn't learn because you were only in school for like 4 hours.
And like he was saying that he broke a record. Broke a record, 4 hours. 4 hours in school before you get suspended. Like it's just for the day. Like what kind of like punishment system do they have at this school? You get caught skateboarding, you're done for the day, but come back tomorrow because we got a lot of learning to do.
Gotta keep kids in school, man.
Well, they know they're soul skaters, so I mean,
yeah. And also like during this scene, the car also breaks down, and you can tell that just like Brink's dad just wants to like fucking hit him, because like everything like has gone wrong in his life, and the fact that he probably blames Brink for having to like pick him up, like something along the way just like ruined the car, and so it starts like smoking, and he's like, well, I don't even know how we're gonna pay for this. I don't know. It's like you get more of like the backstory of like why Brink ends up like changing a little bit, and then like his dad just being like a total dick.
Well, yeah, I think it's like mostly if this is a darker script, his dad's like an alcoholic, but instead his dad's like this grumpy guy that's like can't ever see happiness at any point whatsoever.
He probably got kicked out of the police academy.
Nice.
But so the car breaks down, and then they cut to the scene where he's talking to his wife at home, talking about it's like $900 for the car. It's like, dude, that's fucking pretty good. Your car broke down. Only takes $900 to fix it. Comparatively, like usually that's like thousands of dollars of work to fucking get that shit up and running. This guy's bitching about $900. I get it. He's on disability, but like
he's got nothing better to do with life.
Yeah,
let's just fix it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he doesn't know how to fix it, and then there's no YouTube to find out how to fix it.
That's true. This
was
was
a different time, dude.
I mean, He's also crunching the numbers. As someone who actually works with those types of calculators on a regular basis, his form was terrible.
Well, and I thought it was like super like messed up of him because like his wife's trying to like comfort him, right? And like try to like be positive in his life. And he's like, "Oh, well, did you like sell any houses today?" And she's like, "Well, no." He's like, "Well, did you do any viewings today?" And she's like, "Well, no." He's like, "Well, looks like we're gonna be fine." And you're like, "Damn, dude, why you have to be such a dick to your wife, bro?"
Yeah, dude, especially because she's so gorgeous and beautiful and sweet. Like, if I was her, I would definitely divorce him and probably come look towards like some like 8-year-old Arab kid in Elko, Nevada that was, loving all the right places.
That was Tony's first crush as a child.
That was one of them,
Brink's mom.
Yeah,
so wasn't Lola Bunny like the rest of us?
No, do you know what, dude? We're talking about this right now, and this is gonna sound fucked up, but you watch the Goofy movie?
Yeah. Oh, Roxanne.
Oh, no.
Roxanne, yeah. She they made her look like.
I like how Juan knew right away though. Creepily knew exactly what you were talking about
too, man. Don't you worry about that.
No, but yeah, no, but so it was Roxanne and then Brink's mom, and then I don't know who the next person is, but definitely Brink's mom, dude. And just like watching it now, like you're like, oh shit, if I watch it again, it might not. She's still. Yeah, like, because you see, like, how different people, you're like, damn, I used to be attracted to her. And looking back on it, like, at that time, not so much. She still looks good, like, even in the 90s. And I'm sure it's even better now.
Tony, can she still get it then?
Oh, 100%. Well, what's her name?
That's all this podcast really needs.
Give me a second. I want to look this.
All right, well, we'll keep, like, chugging along over here. So, like, also, like, these kids all got suspended from school, right? And so you'd think they'd be, like, grounded or, like, not allowed to skate. Yet the next day or maybe later that day, they all get to, like, meet up together and skate, where we get to hear all of, like, their, like, getting in trouble stories. Like, this is where we learn that Pete has a stepdad named Jerry that is just, like, a real piece of shit that, like, yells at him. Like, borderline probably abuses him, but, like, Disney doesn't really go into any detail. Like, I feel bad for Pete at this point.
Pete, who is Brink's best friend, has literally the worst life out of any of the students. Like, he does nothing to Val, and then he gets his shoes thrown into a power line. And then it's like, he gets lied to by Brink. He's the one that's, like, telling everyone to stay. It's just like, poor Pete. Poor guy.
Yeah. And then, like, Jordy's parents just, like, awkwardly, like, look and stare. And then Gabrielle, I think, mentions that her, like, parents, like, yelled in Peruvian at her in Spanish. Like, pretty normal stuff. And then they say the term jerkweeds 2:00, which is another sign for the homies of Team Xbladz to show up out of nowhere.
From now on, that's all I'm gonna say is 2:00 jerkweeds over there. They're like, oh, that's the mailman. I'm like,
that's right.
Jerkweeds. So.
Like, Zetas to Petus, look at those jerkweeds.
Oh, that's when you start getting in trouble. Those are jerkweeds major.
Dude, that sounds fat. So the jerkweeds show up, right? Val comes up to the team. They're like, hey guys, Boomer's going to be out for like a month. We have an open spot on Team Xbladz. Val mentions that being on Team Xbladz is the dream. You get to be in the best, like, skaters in the world. You get to be in magazines and you get paid. He's kind of planting seeds for maybe a specific individual part of the SoulCasters to try to join Team Xbladz.
Yeah, now we get into the pinnacle of the movie. Here it is.
Yeah, well, like, and then we get another, like, oh my God, Tony. We get another scene where it's another, like, Pete failed 540. I think we get like 4 of those before, like, the competition, which I think is pretty sad because, like, he always wrecks, like, super duper hard.
Well, in this 540, he doesn't even get any air either. He just kind of goes up the ramp and then he just falls down the ramp again.
Yeah, and then, like, so I think Val mentions, like, in his, like, little, like, talk to them that, like, tryouts are going to be held later that day. And so, like, the SoulCasters have, like, a session, which Brink awkwardly, like, just leaves early because he has something to do. Damn, Tony got Boomer in the background.
Nice.
And so, like you said, the next scene is we actually get to see our boy Brink go to the Xbladz like home base. Also, like I don't know if you guys noticed. Do you guys know how Xbladz is spelt?
Isn't it spelled wrong?
With the ADZ, right?
It's like
XBLADZ. So like there's no E, like it's Xbladz.
Xbladz.
And it's like all over like the warehouse that they like painted over, or like they like kind of took over.
I'm not gonna lie, there was probably a company out there that was called Xbladz and Disney didn't want to get sued, so they were like
Xbladz.
They're like whatever. They're like the kids that watch this movie aren't gonna read anyway, so who gives a shit?
What if this was like based on a true story and we just don't know?
It was.
Dude, by the way, what do they sell in those stores or in that warehouse? Because we see Brink in the warehouse. He's watching the Xbladz kids go back and forth up on the ramps. And then it does like a nice little like camera movement. And we see all these giant boxes that just say Xbladz on the box. But like, what are they selling? Because his skates don't say Xbladz. The only thing that he has that says Xbladz on it is his helmet.
And a shirt.
It's apparel, man.
Sure had it.
And I think in this particular scene too, Jimmy mentions, let me see what it was. Like he mentions that he like moved like X amount of merch being part of like the team Xbladz. But also like if I was a soul skater and I came to this warehouse, like the warehouse is actually pretty sick. Like one, honeys available at any given point of the day. Like the sickest like vert ramp like situation set up. Like you get sponsored. There's like a whole like lounge above one of like the ramps where there's like big couches, a big TV, like unlimited, I'm assuming like energy drinks of some sort. Like who wouldn't want to be a part of Team Xbladz?
Yeah, so I don't get why they would even want to go and shoot the like photo shoot in the beginning at the pit, and they got this badass facility that they can just do whatever.
Well, so you gotta have that local scene, man. Like you gotta show that you guys are out there in like society, not just like.
Nah, fuck all that, man. They gotta be above it. That's why they're Xbladz.
Dude, I think it's just basically this whole movie's art versus industry, and if you do Xbladz, you're in the industry now. You're in a soul skater when you sell out.
Speaking of selling out, dude, Brink, that backstabbing bitch, dude, because he shows up right to this tryout, and Val knows he's gonna show up like that. Val's like the smartest person in this movie, weirdly.
Thank you.
He knows that he planted those seeds. Like somehow Val probably knows Brink's economic situation and just assumes that he like needs Team Xbladz, and they need him as well. Like Brink's obviously like the top rated undrafted skater in the area, so like they need to bring him in on the team. But like Brink shows up because he really, really needs the money. Or he thinks he needs the money according to his dad's financial woes that he like just says out loud without any any regards to human life. But like what I thought was funny about this scene is like the tryouts are over, technically speaking, and like that's when Brink shows up. He's like, "Hey, I'm here to like try out."
Do you think he showed up late, or do you think he did it on purpose, or he just shows up late to everywhere he goes?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's one thing that's definitely fake about this movie. You show up anywhere to an interview late, you're not getting that fucking job, man.
Unless you're like fucking amazing at inline skating, which.
Well, let's talk about the most important fact, though, is that Brink was lying from the very start that he was doing this for his family because he shows up late. We all knew that Brink just needed an excuse to join the Xbladz because obviously as the movie progresses, he gets the audition, but then he opens his bag when they give him the like, "Oh, you're part of the team. Here's your bag full of shit." He opens it up. This is the best acting by the actor who played Brink the whole movie. He looks at the roller skates and he's like, "Holy shit. These are sick." And I think that's what turns his heart black.
I just don't think that when you're sitting there when everyone was leaving, he's like hiding. He's in hiding in plain. Like he's just off to the side and he just like crouches. There's nothing covering him.
Just weirdly out to the side, right? I'm just like, hopefully nobody sees me right next to this box right by the opening.
Yeah, he just said like, it's like, what if someone turned around like, what the fuck are you doing? Weirdo.
Yeah.
They moved that box right in front of his face.
Yeah.
Do you think he was like literally looking past the hiding because he was like, okay, there's no one better than me. Like, I'm gonna get the job, and that's why he was late.
Yeah, and it's just like, why? So, are these people that are passing by, like at his school, like, what the fuck does he give a shit if they see him or not? They don't know who he is. He's just like, whoo, freezing, and then they walk by, and he's just like, Val, well, look who it is. Like, he fucking knew this guy was coming. He said he fucking knew this guy was showing up.
Oh my god, Val pulled the dentist system on him.
Yeah, but I love how it's like back and forth banner. Oh, you're shit. You're not gonna be on this team. You're never gonna be on this team. He's like, yeah, well, fuck, this is a mistake. I was on the fence, but now I'm definitely out. As he's walking away, Val's like, you got 30 seconds, go. It's like, oh, Jesus. Like, Val is like low-key thirsty for this guy to be.
Yeah.
For sure. So he makes the squad, right? And he finds out that he's getting paid just because now he's being sponsored. So he eventually comes clean to his family, and his dad's like, no, fuck off. No son of mine is going to be making money doing skating. I want you to make money like a man and have like a real job, even though the amount of money that Brink disclosed to them was like, oh, that's a lot of money. We can use that. Like, what kind of stupid shit and lot of reasoning is that?
Because you can't get it up anymore.
Yes. That is a great point, because the dad was basically
like has like some sort of like syndrome where he wants to bang his mom, and that's why the dad's pissed.
Dude, I'm just saying, if that was my mom, shit would cross my mind.
Well, like, the mom was like pretty on board about, oh, that sounds good, like $200, like you can save up for college. The dad's like, fuck college, dude. Like, he's like, I don't give a shit.
This man's working for a dog cleaner all day.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, yeah, $200, that's a lot of money. It's just like, you live in California. That ain't shit. Like,
it was the 90s. It was still a decent sized money.
But California, that still ain't shit. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna. Nah, dude. I'm sorry. $200 ain't in a dent any of the bills. But luckily for them, that's what, 5 weeks. They get that car fixed. It was so cheap somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been useful. And yeah, like I said, it's just like the dad obviously just has like too much pride to allow his like son to make any money to help out the family, but then still has like the ability to complain about not having enough money, even though his son's offering all that stuff. But so yeah, like, so we kind of like zipped through that one right there. So like the next scene after like talking to dad at dinner is like Pete and Brink are on the phone. And all you hear is like Pete's stepdad just being like, Pete, get off the phone. What are you doing? I need the phone. And like I said, I was noticing weird shit in the movie, but like Pete has like a huge bowl of M&Ms that he's just like destroying while he's on the phone. I thought it was like the funniest thing.
He goes, my dad's about to go postal if I don't let him use his phone. You're like, Pete is getting beat.
Yeah, he's gonna get his ass kicked here in like 5 minutes.
My dad beats me.
Yeah, it's like,
do you
not my real dad.
Origins of going postal?
Cool. Not my real.
Where's the origin?
So, like, it got to a point where back in the day, all the people that worked for the U.S. Post Office, they were being micromanaged by whoever was in charge. It got to the point where they were so micromanaged and so stressed out that someone actually came in and shot up like a post office.
That's like going postal.
That's what it meant. It's like going postal. It's like shit.
Pete knew it. Pete knew it at the time.
But what I love is Brink is like, I'm gonna fucking come clean. I gotta tell him this is my best friend. I'm gonna tell him. And then Pete's like scared shitless of his stepdad because he's definitely getting beat that night. I gotta go. And so he fucking hangs up the phone, and then Brink's just like, well, I tried to tell him, like, now I'm gonna keep this secret forever.
Like, I really gave him my best shot. Like, I gave him like 3 opportunities, and he's just gonna get his ass beat. So like, it's not my problem.
Another one goes for the Brinker man.
I just thought that was convenient.
This leads into Chase's background scene. I don't know if you guys remember. Yeah. So we go into their home ec class, I guess, where they're all baking.
Wait, we didn't talk about the deal.
What deal?
When Val's, it's like, okay, you're on the team.
Oh.
But
that's right. That's right. Yeah, that
one
is important.
stipulation, you got to show me respect. And he's like, all right. Never saying like, I'll lay off.
Bad things about me, yeah.
He's like, I'm going to shit on you and you can't fucking a goddamn thing. And I'm going to shit on your friends. And I'm going to make this so fucking.
This is it. Brink he's part of the industry now. He is the soul of Brink is gone after that deal.
He's in too deep now, man.
Yeah. So we get this scene where like all his homies are all baking a cake together because I guess like they have all the same classes together in high school. Somehow like that they managed to make that work. And then Brink gives you one of like the weirdest quotes of all times, where I'm pretty sure like Brink just like smokes 1,000 blunts prior to going to school. He's like, guys, baking a cake is a lot like friendship. You know, like sometimes you like mess it up, but like it's still good.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It doesn't always come out the way you want it to, but it still tastes really good.
And I'm like, no, dude, I've fucked up cakes before, dude. They taste like shit.
Although, yeah, a little quick side tip. Jose is a fucking amazing baker.
Yeah, so this is factually correct.
Nice.
Yeah, for the record, cheesecakes were better than Julie's. Now it's
Oh wow.
True.
Well, I like to say that baking a cake is a lot like doing a podcast.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
What were you gonna say, Carlos?
Nothing.
Oh, you just wanted to raise your hand on the Zoom chat, you piece of shit.
The one chef in the group, we're sitting here praising Jose's baking skills.
Yeah, no.
Don't let Carlos say
things.
anything.
Carlos, let's get your expertise on this.
I didn't want to say this, but in past experience with Carlos, scrambled eggs.
Wow.
Oh, is this the beginning of Brink 2? Val and Brink against each
clearly
other?
I'm Val and Carlos is Brink, so come at me.
It's actually just like Brink remade, but in a cooking competition. And so, like, we're trying to get in on delish.com, like their website.
Oh, my God. Jose, copyright that immediately. That is a beautiful idea.
Write that down for a later podcast for us to discuss. We remake Brink with Carlos and Juan.
But, Carlos, let us know. Is baking a cake a lot like friendship?
No. Carlos goes out and says skating is a lot like friendship.
As long as you have soul. You know,
my boss's name is Soul. Anyway, so this is another situation where Val, out of nowhere, dude, like, what, does Val go to class? Does he do anything? Because he shows up to these guys' cooking or this baking class out of nowhere. And then, like
a guidance aid, and he's like delivering slips, and he just sits there. What I used to do when I was guidance aid.
What's up, Soul Skaters? And then, like, I think this is, like you mentioned, Tony, like, he makes Brink show his, like, true colors. Like, all his friends are, like, burning Val, and Val just goes up to him. He's like, Brink, do you think that I'm, like, a jerk? And Brink's like, no, man, you're not a jerk.
Dude, that is why Val is so good, though. That's why the character Val is so good, because he knows he's got the leader of the Soul Skaters as his bitch. He's like, exactly like Jose said. And Brink just breaks down and just like, oh, man, it's like, you're cool. Like, I don't care. And then he leaves.
And Gabrielle is like, what the fuck is going on right now? How the hell? Like, and he's just like, oh, man, he's like, just don't let him get to you. I thought for sure when Val left, Brink was going to be like, fuck that guy. But didn't say shit. And everyone's kind of looking at him like, you're fucking sus right now. Like, something's going on. Pete especially was like, I know my best friend.
Something's fishy.
This is the guy who a week ago convinced his friends to put worms in another student's sandwich, and then Brink's like, no, man, he's cool.
It's not worth it, dude. It's not worth burning the one enemy that we have in this school and in life. It's not worth it, guys.
No, so then this leads to, so then Brink comes home. His dad's like, hey, man, guess what? I got you a fucking job because you were talking all that shit about wanting to help out the family. Now you're in it. And so now he's got school a part-time job, and he's got to practice with 2 different teams because he's too much of a puss to tell his friends that he's on Team Xbladz. And so cue the montage every 90s movie has of just shit. Amazing television where he's going to be exhausted because he's doing all this shit. But the best part is his excuses to his friends. Like, sorry I was late. It's like, what? You guys fucking believe? They're like, oh, all right. It's like, nothing. No one's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, did he even tell his friends about the job?
Well, let's break down the day thing though, because Tony nailed it on the head. His dad's like, you gotta work, and I got it actually right here. Jose, do you have it written down?
I don't have it. So in my notes, I just put that there was a montage because it was just like him waking up like 7 a.m., going to school, and it's like he finishes school and then he goes to Pup and Suds. And like, I think in the montage, it's just like him trying to wash a dog that just like runs away from him.
Here's what I have right now on my screen behind me. I have the movie on. At 7:03, he wakes up. At 9:46 a.m., he's sleeping in class. Okay. And then it moves on 12:34 p.m. He's asleep at lunch, face down. He can't eat a sandwich. Well, I don't know why he's so tired early in the morning. Then at 2:30 p.m., he goes into his job washing dogs, just like Jose said. Then it cuts to 2:48, which is 40 minutes later. Then at 4 o'clock, he's done with the job. So I think it was for 2 hours. Then at 4:15, he has Xbladz practice, where he's working out with Val. Then at 5:36 p.m., he's skating to Venice Beach, where he gets there at 5:39 p.m. for his friends, where Jose has it, whereas Brink cannot give an excuse to save his life.
Also, like, I think in between that, I don't know if it's during that montage, but like when he's at like Team Xbladz practice, like Val makes him go twice because he's like he kills it, like he crushes it, and all the guys are like, "Dude, Brink, that was so sick." And Val's like, "What was that? I thought you said you wanted to go big." And he's like, that was big, and he's like, "Go again," and he's like sweating just like profusely, and then he's like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Go again."
Yeah.
Damn,
Like,
dude.
if this wasn't
Wow,
a fucking
dude.
Disney Channel movie, if this wasn't a Disney Channel movie, you'd know, like, you'd be like, "You want fucking big?" And he just like drop his pants, like, "I'll fucking give you big."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I love how like this is where like the other members of the team are like starting to turn a little bit on Val and being like, "Dude, that was fucking good. Why are you being a dick?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he just like, and I love what it was like a 2-minute run, and all of a sudden like Brink is like,
"Yeah,
again? Like, are you serious?" It's like
the sweating bullets, dude. Like,
girls are doing the work. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Why are you so goddamn tired?
Well, this is the defining scene that Val knows that Brink is better than him at inline skating. That's why Val goes nuts on Brink, because Val knows like he's done, like it's over.
Yeah.
Spirit. That's your boy, Chase.
So well, after the montage, though, like, sorry to cut you off, Chase, but like, we have, I think, one of Tony's favorite scenes. I think you were talking about it earlier, where we all know that there's like some sort of invitational before the championship, and so Brink is gonna have to like be with Team Xbladz at the invitational, which I guess isn't required to be a part of the championship for whatever reason.
They point this out though. The winner of what is it's like the last like 3 years of the
invitational wins the championship.
Win the championship. So yes, it's a good
omen. Let me pause real quick because I actually have a real question about it though, because we see Brink's team, Pup and Suds, in the championship, but we don't see them in the invitational. So like, is the invitational connected to the championship?
Well, they need 4 people to do the invitational, and that's when Brink, this is where we lead into this next scene of this. Pete comes to the house and they show Brink in bed, fucking with sweat all over his face and like this like, got like whooping cough. All right, doesn't cover his mouth. Watching this movie during quarantine, you're looking at this shit like you're a fucking asshole. This is your best friend. Cover your goddamn mouth. It was a fake cough or not. But my favorite part about this, Pete turns his back, and Brink fucking rolls over to the other side of the bed, has this fucking spray bottle of water, fucking shooting his face like he's fucking in a goddamn porno, like all covered. All right, comes back. He turns around, not one word about the fuck, like how come you're drenched all of a sudden? Not one word about this. He's like, oh Jesus. He's just like, oh man, I'm sorry, dude. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to make it to the invitational. He's like, all right, well, I hope you feel better. This sucks, but we're gonna go and check it out and see what. And that's when you see like the fucking most panicked. No. Should just go into practice. We just practice so we can get ready for the championship. And he's like, not suspicious at all. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But that whole scene, like, dude, one sense of like, fine yesterday.
Well, I think this is like the part where I felt the most bad for Pete, because like Pete was just like a yes man to Brink. Like Brink was the team leader. Brink was just kind of like the main guy in the group that like brought everyone together, like really inspired everyone, kept everybody in like that soul skater mentality. And for Brink to like forego his trust and just tell Pete to go practice instead of go watch the invitational, because like normal Brink would probably be like, oh, if we can't compete, like let's go see what the competition looks like and get some ideas. And so this is like way out of the norm. So I feel like here at this point was like Brink's biggest betrayal in the movie.
Right. And I think the hardest thing that I had hardest time wrapping my head around was, why couldn't just Brink just tell him like, hey, like my parents need money. Like I need to go and skate for Xbladz, some furry guys, instead of just being like, oh, I can do both things and I'm coming up with all of these complicated situations to avoid hurting your feelings.
Because this is where you see that Brink is just a lot more like his dad than we thought.
I think it's because you can't. The Soul Skaters I think the Soul Skaters have more like strict rules than the than the Bladers do. Because Juan's absolutely right. Like, why couldn't you just tell your best friend? But we got to also realize, and I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself, but when the Xbladz find out Brink's secret, they're kind of dicks. Like, they literally are like, you know what? Fuck you, Brink. I'm out of here. So, I mean, that's why I got to kind of debate a little bit against Juan's point there, because I think Brink was so scared that he knew that he was going to lose. I don't think his friends gave a shit if he was doing it for his family. They were like, you're a soul skater. You skate for fun. You don't skate for money.
Yeah, I think Gabriella was like the worst one saying, like, why the fuck would you do this? Like, we skate for fun. Now you're just a sellout, instead of realizing, like, okay, I get it. Like, your family's going through some shit right now. Your dad's not working.
That's another thing, though. Listen, this is an unpopular take. Women, you guys have no cap. You guys are going to go through the fucking throats.
Jesus.
Irrational.
Also, just to get us back on track a little bit, I think we didn't mention it either. But I think during a point where like Brink is skating with his friends, they mentioned that like Xbladz has this new skater who's supposed to be like really, really good. And Brink's like, oh yeah, I heard he's really good too. I heard he's like Korean or something. Just like the weirdest way to try to like throw them off or whatever. But like, this is, like I said, the saddest scene for me, because Pete is this like homely guy, like obviously has like the worst life of everybody in this movie. Like has a shitty stepdad, is like second in command on this like shitty group that no one really knows about, that doesn't get sponsored to skate in.
Third
probably behind Gabriella. And then Jordy's obviously fourth.
Yeah.
But he can never hit the 540.
He can never hit the 540. He's crashed like 1,000 times hardcore. Like things are not going great. He like eats Skittles to like crown his pain. Like either way, like Pete is not in any way, shape, or form. So like Brink fake sick. And so the next scene we actually get to see, I believe, the invitational itself, right? And I thought this is like honestly one of the funniest parts of this whole movie. Brink once again shows up late to the Invitational, and his incognito mode is just him wearing the worst pair of sunglasses I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
what was up with that? Like, you wear sunglasses and you don't know who.
Yeah, like Brink with like those like little like circular shades that like don't fit his face.
He doesn't look Korean.
Oh yeah, when Gabrielle finds him.
And it's like Spider-Man.
Wearing a disguise with like the little kids like in a trench coat with a hat trying to get into like an R-rated movie theater.
Yeah, it's like he was wearing those one with like the big nose and the glasses.
Well, yeah, that fake mustache one would have probably worked so much better than actual sunglasses that he wore.
Like he should have like put his hair like in a ponytail and put the helmet on, since like they wouldn't think like, oh, that's not Brink. He's got short hair.
And put the strap on.
Oh yeah, and he buckled his helmet up. That's gonna throw everybody off.
Well, I think it's funny you mentioned that like Pete's practically the number 3 on the Pup and Suds team, because like that team is like practicing or whatever, and Gabrielle's like, well, why don't we just go watch the Invitational? And Pete's like, oh, well, Brink told me like we shouldn't go, like we should really have a session. And she's like, let's have a session and then go. So it's like Pete, the pushover that he is, who lives the shittiest life out of everybody in this movie, doesn't give a shit. He's just like, okay, fine, whatever Gabriella says goes now, because I don't stake claim in any kind of leadership environment. So they end up going to the Invitational just in time to see the final like performance of the day, which is our boy Brink, aka the Korean sensation. And I like how they walk up to the competition and Jordy and Pete like, oh man, this must be the new guy. I wonder who he is. And Gabriella knows right away that it's Brink. And she's just like, no, he's definitely not Korean.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's a pretty brutal. This is a pretty brutal exchange in terms of friendship and like Soul Skaters, and the Soul Skaters kind of really show their true depths, because Brink gets done, he lands the trick, he like does it all right, and then all of a sudden he gets paid like the hooker he is by the manager, where he goes, "Good job, Brink. Here's an extra 200." He's like, "Spend it well," and the Brink's like, "Oh, thanks." To which then Brink turns around and gets a helmet hucked in his head, bounces off his shoulder. Gabrielle and the Soul Skaters are here, and shit is about to go down.
Well, and Gabriella just like straight shoves him.
Yeah,
like onto the ground.
Like, and this is another thing. It's like on roller skates, like that shit had hurt. Like she fucking came up, poof. And I was surprised too, because I was like, damn, like that's probably why Pete's like, yeah, she's definitely number 2, because he's probably scared of this bitch, because the way she just like laid him out.
Dude, she like literally like Ray Lewis down the middle, dude. Like that's exactly what she looked like.
Lowered her head, crown of the helmet to the back.
But I think this leads to like Brink realizing that he's done wrong. And so like obviously like his old team yells at him for being like a sellout and like being a terrible person. And then even Brink's just like, fuck it. Like I'm done with Team Xbladz. And like, you know, I think he like throws his like helmet or something at Val. It's just like, he quits. And then that kind of leads us into this next scene where like, obviously like his whole friends are like really mad at him and he's like just trying to like reconnect with them. But once again, like they just deny him, don't want anything to do with him. Like as soon as he sits down and like tries to talk to him, and they all just like stand up and like move out of the way.
Yeah. Can I sit? Like, oh, sure.
And they all leave. And then the next scene, which is like, I don't know how, like I said, I've mentioned it in times before, Val is everywhere, because not 10 seconds after they just like get up and leave, Val comes out of nowhere. It's like, hey, unlike them, like I'm willing to forgive you for what you did.
Yeah.
And
which is like, really cool from Val.
It's
which
really
is
cool,
really cool.
But like Val knew all along that like his friends were gonna like treat him like shit anyway. So like he's such a good skater that Team Xbladz needs Brink to be successful.
Carlos, what do you think? What do you think about Val?
I don't like him. He doesn't have the characteristics of a skater. He has no scars.
But do you...
Is that what it is? That's all it takes?
There we go.
Yeah.
But do you respect his ability just to always be around?
Either that or he's a stalker. You know, wherever Brink is, he's there.
Dude, yeah, he's so
dude, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, he's always there. Like, name a situation where, like, Brink's about to have, like, a breaking point, and then Val's not there.
All right, so fair. So that means that Val is in love with Brink, which we all knew. This is like what it all is. Look at the way he's standing behind Brink. He loves it.
Fucking thumb up his ass.
He loves it.
Duck lips.
Look at like Brink's face. Like, there's definitely something going on here where he's uncomfortable. Val's into it though.
He looks like he's moving in pain. Like, it's not just a thumb. He's at an item in there.
So now we have the battle of the SoulSkaters and the Xbladz, but new development. Brink is now part of the Xbladz.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're about to do this. They're looking at the race, right? That they have to do in.
Yes. So they both head to the downhill course. Because like they both have the same plans. Like, hey, the championship is coming up. We have to like prepare. We have to get ready. So both teams end up showing up, and yeah, so like they have like a showdown at this like downhill course where Val makes a racist joke. I think he like says like, "Hey, Gabriella, like, why don't you go back to Mexico or something like that?" And she's like,
"Okay, I take back everything I said about Val. I'm back to Team SoulSkaters. I forgot that he said the racist thing toward Gabriella.
Like, I feel like in a Disney movie in 2020 can't be made with this joke. It just seems like sensitive times, but I thought it was really interesting for him to like make this joke. And obviously in perfect Val fashion, instead of choosing anyone else on Team Xbladz, who has to race Gabriella?
Yeah, he chooses Brink. And Brink turns around like, no, I can't do this.
I can't race Gabriella. And Gabriella being the fucking savage, she's like, don't be a little pussy, dude. Like,
yeah.
Don't take it like, easy on me.
Dude.
Kind of like an ignorant, or not ignorant, but like a fucking thing where he's just like, at the same time, he's like, yeah, bitch, like, I know I can beat her, so don't make me do this to my friend, because I know I'm just going to fucking destroy her.
But can we say one thing, though? Gabriella beats the shit out of Brink in this race.
Okay, so, like, I actually have a couple notes on this. So, before, like, I mean, obviously, like, the race goes down, and, like, it's pretty intense, right? So, Val tells the rest of the group, hey, guys, I'll go down to the beach to make sure that this is like done fairly, which is like, who's going to agree to that? And like in this world where like Val's been the shittiest person to everybody on both teams, like even including Limp Bizkit fan, Backstreet Boy, Boomer, all these guys, like obviously Val always has bad intentions, but like creepily he goes up to Brink before the race. He's like, hey, on that turn, take it outside. And Brink's like, nobody goes outside on that turn. He's like, trust me. And you're like, oh shit, something's about to go down that we're just not ready for. So it just like seemed like the perfect time to like make Val even more of a bad guy. One, racist joke. Two, shady stuff going on before the race. Chase's favorite character. Go on.
I mean, we're going down this race and Gabriella is destroying. It's weird. It's actually on my TV back there. Gabriella is destroying Brink in this race. It's not even close. She jumps over a truck. She gets pushed out of the rink. She's going around. She hits this truck, does this like sick jump, lands. Then we're going down the hill. Then all of a sudden we cut to Val. Val goes, smirks, takes some rocks out of a bin, throws it on the corner, throws gravel, because we all know roller skating's biggest enemy is tiny rocks. And he throws it right there on the corner. And as Brink and Gabrielle are coming down, as she's clearly in front of him, Brink goes, Gab, take the outside. And she's like, nice try, Brink, you idiot. No one takes the outside. The inside's faster. Then she meets her worst enemy, hits the gravel rock, flies like 30 feet down this hill, laying on the ground, covered up. She's just bloody all over her body. And Brink, being Brink fashion, does not stop and continue the race. He stops and goes back to his friend.
Like, how did Gabriella not die? Like, that's my biggest question.
Or at least, like, broken bones for sure. There's no way, especially on asphalt, there's no way she's getting out of that.
You got to wear the pads, man. That's why they wear.
She was wearing overalls too, so
she was definitely covered all.
Yeah, it's the Peruvian. They got that quick twitch. The quick twitch.
What?
I think at one point somebody says Gabriella's really hurt. She's like laying on the ground, like covered in blood. They're like,
but that scrape was like,
dude,
like it covered her arm, like just
like I feel like my youth was scarred from like seeing the damage done by like falling. I was afraid of falling anywhere because like her arm was just like busted, like not, obviously not broken or anything, but just like straight up like blood, like open wounds. Hey, like
you remember you go back to your childhood and you remember when you did fall like that and you had to pick out those little black rocks out of the little skin or whatever.
This was like legit makeup though. They made that shit look like real. Like damn, that like going that fast, hitting that turn. Of course, you can't overcome those rocks. You're gonna feel all of this and just the whole. But I love afterwards. They check on her and all this stuff, and then Brink looks up at Val, and Val just like has that face of like, yeah, I did that shit, like with like a smirk, like what the fuck.
Like the thing is, like as I watched that crash as an adult, like I think about, I was like, damn, that was fucking gnarly. Just watching it as an adult, like I kind of wonder who was the poor stunt person that had to eat it going down the asphalt.
Yeah, I agree with that. But did you guys think that she should have broken more than that? Because they're going pretty fast down those hills. Like,
oh yeah.
It's like
there's no way she's ready in 3 days.
Yeah, because like it made it just seem like she might have like if anything like sprained something and had like just like wounds but no broken bones or anything and was ready to compete by the weekend.
That Peruvian blood, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like we get to like this aftermath where like Brink realizes that honestly he's the piece of shit because he stayed with Val for so long. And this is where we get like one of the 4 songs played on the Brink soundtrack as Brink's going to Gabriella's house to hopefully apologize, which, like I said, the timing always works out perfectly in these movies because as he's trying to go to Gabriella's house, who's coming out of her house? Our boy Jordy and Pete, both of them. And they literally just like shit on Brink so hard. They're just like, this is all your fault. Like, had you have not joined Team Xbladz, this is what happens, dude. Like, you don't become a soul skater, and it immediately causes like our friendships pain.
Yeah, and then I love like the mom, like shows up. He shows up the door, and the mom like opens it up, and she's just like so happy to see him. Like, oh, Brink. But then there's like this like awkwardness where like, I know my daughter's fucking pissed at you, but I'm an adult and I see things clearly. You should come talk to her. But like, first, she's passed out.
I was gonna say, did anybody else feel uncomfortable with the fact that she was like sleeping in her bed and then Brink like just awkwardly comes into her room and it's just like, Gabby, hey, Gabby. And she's just
like, let her rest. She's sleeping. She just had this traumatic experience. Like, you know what? I'm gonna come back tomorrow. Fucking insensitive, selfish person to be like, no, I want to do this shit right now.
But we all know she's fake sleeping. Her friends just walked out of the house 30 seconds before he walked in.
Well, maybe they were creeping too.
You think they were creeping on her?
I don't think she was sleeping. I think she just heard his voice and was actively like trying to avoid him. Mm-hmm. And also, like, if we can go back for a second, it's like Jordy and Pete being pissed at Brink for what happened to Gabby. It's like kind of like a dick move on their part too, because it's not like Brink can control whatever the fuck Val's gonna do.
Yeah, you know what he could have controlled? Not being on Team Xbladz to where he's not even in that situation.
God, points taken. I mean, he yelled for her to go on the outside.
Yeah, I think that's just a cop-out for not blaming Val for like the despicable human that he actually is. I mean, if anything, he probably could have gotten arrested for that fucking.
Honestly, it could have been like assault at that point.
Yeah. But probably, another point though, Pete, Jordy, and Gabriella, shitty friends, because when they finally caught him, he tried to explain like, listen, my family's going through tough times, like we need the money. And instead of being like, oh shit, yeah, like do what you gotta do, man. They're like, we're all going through problems. You're a piece of shit. Abandon him. And then like it's like after you could see like he shows up at her house, fucking filled with remorse, like feeling sorry for her, like just like feeling terrible. And they're still like willing to be like, you're a piece of shit. You shouldn't fucking be here.
I think in this situation, I'm Team Gabby though, because like she actually brings up some great points because like we don't know everybody else's like lifestyle or whatever, but like Brink had like many opportunities to leave Team Xbladz. Like he made his like nut, right? Like he competed, he went to the Invitational and won, right? So it's like he had a chance to quit again, right? And like not have anything bad happen. But she even says like, this is how it all starts, man. It starts with the money. And then you say that like after you get enough money, it'll be enough. But you start falling in love with the money. So it like changed. And for him to be the person that like invited this whole group together on the soul skating principle, only to betray that principle, I can understand where Gabby's coming from.
No, right? Hold on. I'm gonna take the other side because Gabby is being way too over the top with this. Like she practically makes it seem that Brink went up to her family's house and stabbed her mom in front of her. It's just like enough money to get by because the mom hasn't been selling any houses, so we don't know where the income's coming from. Like, and alone the car to fix the car was $900. You still have to pay the mortgage. Like, we don't know how much disability is covering. Like, I can see that Brink would have to continue to be part of Team Xbladz for the foreseeable future until he has enough money to at least fix the car. He was only getting paid like $200. Which
would have been perfectly fine if he would have just told his friends that from the very beginning. But he lied not once.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Brink isn't blamable in this situation, but it's more like Gabby is being way too over dramatic.
Let me jump on Juan's side, and I agree with Juan that Gab is being too, because they're doing. You've got to just slightly assume that the championship this isn't their first time going for this championship. The championship's got to offer at least like some sort of like reward with the trophy. So like, if so facto, it seems like Soul Skaters, even though they're always saying like, we're doing this for fun, they're still practicing to win this championship. But for what cause? Because I'm not trying to say like, I get it. Like they're trying to skate for fun, but everyone at the end of the day is trying to do something they love for money. So Gabrielle is just kind of being like too into the creed of the Soul Skaters.
And don't forget, they also have to pay for the daughter's night braces. What the fuck are night braces? Are they talking about like a retainer?
I think so. I think that's what it is.
Because I don't know if the dad is just like trying to be like his usual shitty self and just be like, oh, night braces, but it's like it's a retainer. Like I was confused about that, wondering like, is that such a thing? I didn't care enough to Google it, but I was just assuming that she was talking about a retainer. But I've just never heard anybody call retainers night braces before. So yeah, and those are expensive, apparently.
Well, now we move into another one of my favorite scenes. Not my favorite scene, but one of my favorites is when Brink does the confrontation of Val after he talks to Gabriella.
Wait. Before we get to that, because I think I have like a small tidbit in between that. We get a heartfelt moment between Brink and his dad, where Brink tells his dad that he like signed up for Team Xbladz even though he was told not to. I think this is the part in the movie, right?
Oh yeah.
So like he expresses to his dad that at first it was just for the money, but then at some point he was just like, you know what? I actually also wanted to be like famous, and I wanted to be in magazines, and I wanted to do all this stuff. And then we get like the weirdest quote from his dad. He's like, you know what? I used to be a construction foreman, and I thought that was my life. I was going to be a construction foreman, but I realized like during my disability that doesn't define who I am. Like, it's just something that I do. So like, as you think about your life, skating is something that you do. It's not something that you are. It's just like the cheesiest, stupidest shit ever, to where his dad was like construction foreman. Like, that's my life eclipse. Like, that's exactly what I am. That's exactly who I am.
No,
I thought it was like the weirdest.
Then they closed it with, did we just almost have a normal conversation? And then they're like, yeah. And he's like,
don't tell mom.
Don't tell your mother. It's like, what? Do you not want Poon? Like,
his family is weird.
If that was my wife and we've been in a rut, I'm being like, I just had the most amazing conversation with our son. I feel so much better. I feel happy. You should feel happy. We should celebrate. Lock the door. That's just me. But
yeah. But yeah, like that was that little scene sprinkled in, Chase. But yeah, if you want to go off, man, like the next scene actually is like one of the most memorable scenes for me. Like, this is one that I like. All I picture is just like the motion of somebody throwing a milkshake, and it's like one of my favorites. So, want to go ahead?
Well, I mean, I think the best way, I mean, to put it was what he told his friends, but we'll jump back is basically Brink goes up to Val and says, I don't want to do, I don't think he says anything, right? He just walks up and Val's like talking to girls and his friends. He's like having a nice thing. And then Brink just throws a chocolate shake and just hits Val. And Val's like, what?
Yeah, so he throws his like helmet like by his pizza like while they're eating, and then he says, "Hey man, you could have killed Gabriella." And then Val says, "Let me see what I put here. Wow, I can't believe you're such a wuss and didn't finish the race." And then he throws the milkshake in his face. Classic Val, classic.
Well, he's recording.
I'm back. Yeah, sorry guys. Like, I don't know what happened. Like my internet.
You're gonna have to do some editing. So let's just do some editing. Let's just start it from the top, and then you're gonna have to edit.
So where did you guys drop me off at?
So
you dropped off when he said he slammed the pizza.
Gabby.
Oh,
yeah,
so
when he slammed
almost,
the helmet
yeah,
in the pizza.
So he said you could have killed Gabby, which Val replies, "Wow, I can't believe you. You're such a wuss and didn't finish the race." And then pow, milkshake to the face.
Am I the only one? So then Val gets up and wants to fight Brink, and Boomer gets up. And of course, Power Ranger that he is saves the day. Am I the only one who thought Boomer was gonna join the Soul team? I haven't seen this movie forever, and I was like, that could happen.
Yeah, he could replace Gabby because Gabby's hurt. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Well, because he couldn't compete because his knee's still fucked up. But I think he was like, fuck you guys. I'm going to be with them. When I'm healed, definitely riding with these guys.
If Gabriella can, recuperate in 3 days, why can't he? All he did was hit a bar. A rail.
In the Brink universe, everyone heals within 3 days, no matter what their injuries are.
Also, I don't know if you guys noticed too, like as like he's like pulling Brink away or like moving him away, he's like drenched in like milkshake excrement. Like he also was like what's it called? Sprayed with like the haphazard, just like random shit. So it's like
that milkshake was too watery also. I mean,
dude, like they definitely did like extra creamy. Not at all. It was just like looked like just
they
like
put it extra like in the machine, right? Like at the gas station, just like
for reals,
extra soft for reals.
So can I jump into my one of my favorite lines that when Brink goes and tells his friends?
So that's what I had next. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Brink goes back to his buddies and he has a bag of stuff, and I'll let Jose talk a little bit more about it. But they go, Brink's like walking away from his friends after he like gives them gear to like.
Wait. We're skipping a huge part. We gotta talk about Pete fucking up his skate because that shit, I was dying.
Because they're all concerned because like, hey, how are we gonna compete, right? And then Pete's like, don't worry, like we'll figure out how to get a fourth member. And then Pete goes up to do a trick, and then his skate just fucking gets demolished.
But like the fact that they were like Gabby just like fucking ripped his ass right before this. Like, you need to stop. We're gonna fucking do this. Like, go out and perfect your craft. And he's like, fine. And then he goes up and just fucking eats shit. Like, I was laughing, like, insult. You just got your ass chewed out by a female, and then right away you fucking fall flat on your face, break your skate, and then fucking Brink comes in, just like Val, like perfect timing, just shows up like, oh hey, like you just broke your skate, I got something for you, and gives them all like new skates, gives them like these T-shirts, like sponsored T-shirts, like, oh, you guys are gonna be sponsored. Team Pup and says like, wow, how'd you get him to do this? Like, selfishly, if you're a real G, you'd be like, oh yeah, man, I just asked them and they did it. Wants the glory and says, it was actually me. I got an advance on my paycheck to pay for all this, which, by the way, this dude's been working there for 2 fucking weeks. You're never going to give somebody an advance that's only been working there for 2 weeks. And especially
not only 2 weeks.
2 hours a fucking day.
Exactly.
Like, no chance in hell you're going to get an advance. But I thought it was selfish for him to be like, yeah, I actually did this.
How much were skates back in the day?
How were the skates?
I don't know.
Probably
like,
$150
it gotta be over like $100, $150.
Yeah, but even no matter what, you know, Pete's stepdad's not gonna pay for his ass to fucking get his skates because that guy fucking hates him.
Call him by his real name, Jerry.
Jerry.
So, real quick though, Brink. This is what I was leading into. Not only does Brink give them all brand new gear, he's apologized for maybe like the 20th time, but the thing that gets the Soul Skaters to finally say okay is that Brink is like leaving. He's like, okay, well, good luck on the championship. And then all of a sudden Gabriella goes, well, hold on a sec. Did you really throw that vanilla shake in Val's face? And then Brink turns to Gabriella and says, it was chocolate. And then Peter goes, how does it feel? And then Brink goes, it was cool and it was sweet. And then they instantly go,
sweet.
Oh, and it was sweet. And then they go, you're back on the team, brother. They're like, come on.
No. You got to explain the awkwardness of them asking, like, so anyways, good luck on Sunday. And he's like, I think Pete's like, hey, so, and then Jordy's like, yeah, so we were thinking, and then it was just like an awkward pause.
Oh, yeah, and then Gabrielle is like, what are you doing on Sunday?
Yeah, and then it's just like, goes the close-up to Brink's face, and he's just like, that smile, like, I fucking did it. I got
and the Soul Skaters
are
back.
We're back, baby.
Yeah. Like we never left.
So like we get the next scene where the championship has come. Everybody has arrived. Do you guys actually happen to catch what the competition was called?
No.
So it was the AISC, the Aggressive Inline Skating Championships.
Jesus.
So it was called the Aggressive Inline Skating is what they were doing. I don't know what it means, but I thought it was really funny and I thought I'd mention it here on the podcast.
ESPN was there, so it must have been big.
Yeah, dude,
that was in my notes. Yeah. So that's what I literally wrote. Featured on ESPN, probably the Ocho. But like I think like I said, this is just kind of like how the movie starts, kind of like wrapping up what's going to happen. Because I think we as an audience already know that like somehow Team Pup and Suds is going to have to face off against Team Xbladz in a downhill course. But we actually get like the competition and like the announcers talking shit about Gabriella during her first run, because she goes up after like being injured for like 3 days somehow, like you mentioned, and she's like, Gabriella is up and she's a virtually unknown skater and we don't really know anything about her and she seems to be doing really well for Team Pup and Suds and like whatever, blah blah blah. And it's like she still gets like a really, really high score, but like the biggest thing is like, oh, no one knows who she is. She's part of this team that no one cares about. But we just thought we should let you guys know because it's on ESPN.
Yeah.
And then Val gets up there and then fucking just kills it and gets like a 97.
Yeah. And then so it's Brink's turn. he's going, and they're starting to like talk up Brink a little bit. Like the announcers are like, "Oh yeah, he's doing really good," blah blah blah. And then right when they start like praising him, dude eats shit.
Right on the lip, dude.
Like, yeah, going right on the lip, just fucking like you know how bad your shin is gonna be fucking killing you. The way he fucking hit up against that thing, there's no way he's like just gets back up and does what he does. Because then he goes and he finishes strong. But after that collision with your shin, you're on your legs like rollerblading. No fucking way can you get that shit up the way he did after that. You're limping. You're like, all right, I'm going to take the score as it is because there's no fucking way I'm skating for another.
Not if you're a soul skater, dude.
Yeah. No, fuck that, dude. That's you're out at least 10 minutes because that's like a fucking stinger. Like a legit one. That's like he's feeling that in the morning. There's going to be a bruise. Like there's no chance that he's going to finish that shit like as good as he did. But he
finishes
86?
89. Yeah. So I believe like Gabriella got like a 95. I think Val got like a 97 or 98. But yeah, so Brink ends up with an 89. And then we get like this awkward scene where he goes up to the crowd because his mom and his sister are there, right? And he's just like, oh my God, where's Dad? And he's like, oh, well, he had a big meeting with like his boss. And he's like, does he have his job back? Is he getting laid off? And we're like, guess we'll find out. And then Katie goes up to him. He's like, hey, man, I have some advice for you. And he's like, what? He's like, skate better. And it's like this awkward scene where he's just like, skate better. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, that's easy. Like, I should skate better. Yeah. Skate better. Skate better.
So it honestly felt like that was like like an improv scene. Like it was a joke scene. Like the girl, like the director was like, let's just go off book for this. And the little girl's like, just skate better. And then he was like, all right, sounds good.
When I watched that, it pissed me off because like it just brought me back to like football.
Like be better.
You hear fucking like parents.
Just catch the ball.
Yeah, tackle him. It's like, oh, fuck. Like, oh, I thought we were just supposed to fucking sit there. Like, yeah, no shit, tackle him. Like, thanks for the advice. Yeah, and like, catch the ball. Like, oh shit, what the? Like, even in the song, you go, come on, you guys need to score here. Oh,
yeah.
No shit, Sherlock.
or in some cases, your family throws rocks at you to get you to play better.
Yeah. Yo, by the way, Brink's dad has the shittiest bosses of all time, though, because they make his dad do an interview on a Sunday.
Yeah, that's right, because we get to know the things on Sunday. So, like, after, like, this weird scene about skating better, we get another montage of all these, like, random people skating. Like, Jordy never gets his own, like, official, like, thing. Like, obviously he's a piece of shit. But, like, you go through this montage. So we actually get like a montage with a song. So like I don't know if you guys know, but there's a band called Fastball, which has a lot of bangers. But this song's called Sooner or Later. So if you guys hear it, and I'll probably add it to this podcast sneakily somewhere as we do it. But like Sooner or Later is a fucking bang, dude. This is like one of the songs that every time they're skating, it's like sooner or later. I don't know. It's fucking good. Might do it in karaoke later. Either way, so we get a montage of Sooner or Later, people skating. Next scene is Dad in the stands with the mom.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, hey, like I got to talk to the supervisor. And she's like, and he's like, I got my job back. I start on Monday. And everybody's like super excited. And the mom just like socks the shit out of him. And she's like, don't scare me like that.
He's definitely getting it in that night.
If he can,
for sure.
According to Carlos.
Carlos, what is that? What does that sound?
Is that supposed to be sex?
Is that a horse?
I also have to say though, that the montage though of the first skating rink, I thought was actually really good. I mean,
no, it's cool. Like,
I thought it was really good
with the song combined.
Dude, this is a Disney Channel original. Of course, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, so like no, like so we get like that scene where his dad like talks about getting his job back. What happens next? Brink is up to perform on the vert, right? Oh yeah, he gives like the thumbs up, thumbs down. And then, so he's about to perform. He gets a thumbs up from his dad that he got his job back. Brink is inspired as fuck, right? Like, he's ready to fucking destroy this next thing. Like, he sucked in the last one, got an 89, which still seems like a pretty decent score. But, like, Brink goes, does his, like, you know, vert competition, and what does he get? He gets a score of a 98, which is, like, I think the highest score that we've seen thus far. I think Val maybe
higher than Val's in the half pipe in the Invitational.
Yeah, because I think he got a 97. Val got a 97.
Yeah. And then so after we get Brink getting a 98, we get another montage of skaters skating, which doesn't seem that important, right? So it's like it comes up to Team Pup and Suds having a chance to possibly get into the finals. But we get focused in on Team G-Force, which is like a team that we've never heard of before. No one really cares about. They're wearing purple. And in classic Disney dramatic fashion, like everybody's watching on. It's like their best person on Team G-Force. And he's like performing. He like lands some like sick-ass trick. And then along the way, what happens?
Eat shit.
Beefs it.
Not only does he eat shit, like he literally looks like he died. Like he falls so hard on the ramp and then just like rolls off all the way onto the ground where everybody's just like, oh my God, is he dead? Because he's like,
I like how he rolls in front of the other skaters and they're just looking down at him like, oh.
Then they look away.
Yeah, he's hurt.
and then they look away. And
they're like, he's like, the guy is not moving. He is not moving right now. Everybody's just kind of like holding on and waiting. And then, like, 2 seconds later, they're like, all right, he's getting up. He's getting up. Now it's time for Team Pup and Suds to possibly get into the final with their last guy, Peter, whatever his name was.
We can win?
PD.
We can win?
We have a chance now? Oh, I'm sorry. This last guy almost fucking died.
When they go to the crowd, right? Because, like, Katie, I think, starts talking to her parents. Just like, we have a chance. There's an opportunity that we can win.
Oh, no, she says, we can win this one. And then they do, again, no wonder the daughter has such a shitty attitude because not only is her brother sarcastic to her, she's getting fine points. She's right. She's like, yo, skate better, you'll win. And they sarcastically are like, skate better. And then she goes to her parents, we can win this one. And then her parents are like, we can win this one. You stupid idiot. You're like, no shit. The guy just almost died. Peter can get the 540 down. Shut up. And then no wonder the daughter has a bad personality.
Yeah. So like I said, Pete's up next. And like we all kind of see this moment coming, right? Like the only thing for them to make it to the finals is that Pete has to hit this 540 that he's just never been able to hit. And guess what? That son of a bitch Pete ends up fucking crushing his run, lands a 540. Also in the crowd, who is celebrating? None other than our boy, the Black Ranger himself,
yeah.
Boomer.
Yeah.
Boomer is ecstatic, dude. Boomer is Pup and Suds' #1 fan. Fuck their parents. Fuck everybody else in the crowd because Boomer is stoked. The guy is like just fucking ready to go, pumped up that Team Pup and Suds is moving on to the final. I think Pete scores like a 97 or something in his run. And so it all comes down to the downhill race between Team Pup and Suds and Team Xbladz.
I just wish Boomer was wearing a fucking hat, man. That hairline was killing me all movie.
Isn't it a weird? Did anyone else think that this competition was very weird? Because it was like you had the trick skating, and then you had the half pipe, and then it's like now it's like a downhill race, like
a one-on-one downhill race from like somebody from your team.
This is the aggressive part of the
inline skating
competition.
By the way, they literally don't have any judges on this track. Like they don't have, it's like, okay, we're going to do this race. We're going to just send our skaters to the top. We'll have like one camera crew that's just like kind of roaming around in the middle. And then all the audience will be down. But listen, these skaters, they could break the rules if they want.
The camera crew though.
The camera crew is clutch, I think.
They saw it. They were TMZ at that time, dude.
Yeah, but did you see how long that hill was? Like all the way down, there was like no other cameras. Was there? Or I'm going nuts.
There was in the car.
There was like a couple cameras, and then so like let's go like break it down piece by piece of what's going on in this race, because I thought this was like one of the most intense actions. So we get Val versus Brink, David versus Goliath, Tiger versus Phil. Oh my God, Carlos!
Oh, for the audience, Carlos is showing us a picture of the Black Power Ranger and his hairline.
We'll put this up on the YouTube page for anybody who wants to watch, because it'll be on there.
That looks like he went to the barber and is like, "Yo, you know the St. Louis, the art."
I didn't notice how bad it was. That is bad.
Yo, we have the same hairline.
No, dude, you wish. Dude, I'm telling you, he went to the barber and is like, "You know the arch in St. Louis?" And the guy's like, "I got you." That thing is strictly like that is what people probably right now that are doing haircuts because barbers are closed. I bet there's a bunch of fucking hairlines that look like that right now. It's just terrible. Terrible.
But yeah.
But anyways, continue.
But yeah, so like I said, it's like a head-to-head matchup, right? Like two of the best in the game racing downhill. And like at first, like it's a pretty like solid competition, right? Like they're both going down. They're both like head-to-head, passing each other one step at a time. And then I think there comes a part where like Brink goes down like a set of stairs. Also, like, was anybody like just like blown away by the fact that like as they're going downstairs, they're just like clunk, 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 like all the way with no problems on skates? Like me, I would just like fucking die going downstairs if that happened.
But yet many rocks will like send them 30 feet like down the area.
But as they're going around one of these turns, like Brink falls, and like that's the first time we see like a weakness, I guess. But like they both end up catching up to each other. But we get to this point where you mentioned that there was a camera crew, but like I think Jordy like nudges one of his friends. He's like, "Hey, here comes a blind spot," where like I guess cameras aren't able to see anything, and so they're both in the blind spot. And then Val starts like shoving Brink and starts like trying to like mess with his like mojo. And then like the camera kicks back up and they're all just like back to normal, doing whatever they have to do. And then it like goes back and forth where like Val tries to like hit Brink and then just misses completely and goes into like a bale of hay. And then Brink, being the gentleman that he is, like, you know, just goes after him.
Brink never... There are 3 races in this entire movie. Rule of threes, I guess. Brink, every single race, whoever his opponent is, crashes to injure themselves, and Brink always stops to run and grab him and help him out. And I think Val, being the very smart man that he is, he was my boy before the racist comments. Not going to judge him now. But I think Val knew that Brink would stop again. So Val crashes on purpose, and that's when Brink goes to help him. Then Val grabs him and goes, "You never could finish a race, could you?" And then he throws him down. Brink's in trouble.
Yeah,
dude, no. My boy Boomer missing a finger.
What?
Carlos is doing some deep
research. No, Carlos has been looking up the Black Power Ranger on Google Images, and yes, he is missing a finger.
The middle finger.
No wonder he can't skate.
I don't know how that relates.
Aerodynamics are all up.
By the way, can we jump back really quick? Brink says something very mean to Val, but I mean, I get it because it was a movie, and we kind of skipped it. Was Val looks at him, and he goes, or Brink looks at Val and says something to the point where he's like, yeah, I want to win, but no matter what, win or lose, at the end of the day, I'm not you, so it's still a good day.
Ooh. Damn, dude. That's like the deepest burn, dude. Imagine. Like
that's like, oh damn, is it Halloween? Yeah, why don't you give me your mask and we'll make it official.
Dude, bringing the Xenon back, dude.
Nice. We're all back. These are the zingers of the Disney Channel movies that helped us out for the rest of our lives.
No, but like when you were saying that how Brink helped him out and then Val, like, didn't he like pull him into the hay or some shit like that and take off?
Yeah, he's like, I knew that you were gonna do this, and then just like pushes him in, and like Val continues, and then the camera crew is just like, "Did you get that? Oh, I got that." Like Val didn't know that was gonna be a thing.
Yeah, Val decided to do his cheating on not the corner where there was no cameras, but on the corner that had all the cameras. Because you're right, the camera guy goes, "Did you get that?" And the other camera guy goes, "Yeah, I got all of it."
Yeah, he was so excited. He's like, "Yes, I got all of it." And then they got in the car and started driving.
Well, and I think like the next part too is I think we all like get like make fun of it too because like Val obviously like cheated during the race, and then Brink pulls a Gabriella move similar to what she was doing previously when she like jumped over that truck, where he like takes a shortcut through like an alleyway and then like jumps back into the race. But like obviously he like cut like a big portion of the course because he was pretty far behind of Val. And he does that, and where it turns to Gabriella, where she's like, "Oh, my move, my move." And I'm just like, all right, but like that's also cheating. So like
Brink cheats worse than Val does. I know Val like crashes and then Brink gets him, and then Val pulls down Brink. But like Brink literally cuts like an eighth of the course. The reason I'm looking backward is because I'm literally watching it as it happens right now. Brink cheats. He cut. You can't run the New York Marathon and then just be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna run the whole marathon. I'll just cut all the way through Manhattan."
Yeah, exactly. Like both people are like shitty parties either way. But was Brink on camera when he was cheating? And maybe that's what makes it a little bit better.
He was not
That's
on
what makes it a little bit better.
I just saw it. According, there were no cameras. Then they caught each other. Then on the last stretch, that's when he comes in. They skate down to the bottom, and then Brink does like I think he kicks his foot out, and his foot is the one that goes over the line.
Or like his knees, right? Like I think it was. Like
his knees. It's like his knees. Yeah.
Okay, now before we get to the end of the race, Juan, Carlos, I'm asking you this question. Jose, move over a little bit. Look at those two men. Who's winning in a foot race?
Val. Have you not seen Little Giants?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, because that's what it comes down to basically in that home stretch where the rollerblading is no more and it's just a fucking sprint to the finish.
No, I think even like the people announcing say that, right? It's like a foot race to the end because like they're both like skating, just like
right to that last ramp where the last jump or whatever. There's no fucking way. Like you could look like Val has like the kind of like an athletic build, and.
But I think it all depends on like strides, right? Like who has the longer legs? I guess this picture probably doesn't encapsulate that. But like if you have longer strides, you probably go a little bit further. Faster.
Brink looks more aerodynamic too.
Well, it's all about the arms, man. If you're not moving your arms, your strides don't mean shit. You're pumping those things. But I'm just saying, by looking at because Val was ahead for like I don't know, you'd say like a foot and a half.
Yeah.
And they get to this jump, and it looked like they jumped around the same time. So I don't know if Brink gets lower on the jump, but I love how like when they do jump, they both like grab their legs. Is that like a
assuming that's an inline move, I would guess.
Whenever you get in air, you're like grab your ankles and like do like a little clutch. Is that I don't know, Juan, Carlos, you know anything about this?
No.
He's a professional skater that I am.
All right.
Yeah.
So a question for all of you. You guys get some air. What's your fucking move?
I'm trying to land it, no?
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the land.
We're getting air.
So if we're doing the last, like that last scene where you trying to, I'm Supermaning it.
Yeah. So you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm doing an Eddie Guerrero frog splash, man. That's where I'm going.
Okay, so like I don't know if you guys remember. So like
I've seen your frog splash. It's fucking terrible.
In the montages, like before, like obviously during the competitions, there's this like sick move that a guy like pulls over. I think it's like fake Jordy, where he has his like foot out completely and he like grabs it like whatever. They call it like a Liu Kang. Like I don't know if you guys noticed, they say that like a Liu Kang kick over and over and over again during that competition. That's what I would be trying to do because that's like the furthest part of my body that I could probably like put out right now, and then just like grab it and then fucking be at the very end.
Dang, look at those calves.
Thank you.
So what about you, Chase? What's your pose?
Who would win in a foot race?
What's your midair pose?
My midair pose? I'd have to go with Pete's 540.
Oh, you do 540 at the end of the race? Like,
yep. I'm doing Pete's 540 at the end of the race. That's what I'm doing.
And then just get wrecked at the very end.
And I crash into my skate brakes, and I'm like, oh, great. Now we're down a skater, and I don't have any skates.
You sound just like Pete, like 100%.
My dad's gonna go postal when he finds out about this. My stepdad. Which I actually think that the actor that played Pete, I think actually has the best career out of any of the actors. Because he's in a
Does he? I tried looking him up. He doesn't. He looks familiar, but I cannot recognize anything he was in.
Did you type Pete or Peter?
No, I think my pose would be like I'd do like cannonball, but like I wouldn't land it on my feet. I would just fucking go like all in.
At that point, just like throw your body into like do like a slide tackle or whatever, just to get you like butt over the line before he beats you.
Yeah, and like sacrifice, and then like if you do win, it'll look even more like he sacrificed his body for this victory. And then like they'll show it on the replay, and then they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, during the race, fucking Val is a cheating bitch." Fucking. So then it makes you look even more heroic. But yeah, I would definitely just do cannonball, land on my ass, hold it down for a little bit for like the theatrics, like get the medical team, and then just do that like slow rise. And then like as your team like corrals you, just like raise your hand. Then like give a thumbs up to the dad, like this is for you. This is for you.
Okay, I did some research of the cast of Brink. Who did the best? Probably Val, since he was in Little Giants. Like that's pretty like peak. He was also in Accepted, I guess.
Oh yeah, he was. He was one of the asshole frat dudes.
I mean, Eric Von Denton did pretty well for himself, for the most part. The guy who played Jimmy, which is the Xbladz manager, was in Forrest Gump. And he's still acting to this day. So if we're going to talk about...
What about the other guy? Who's the fourth on Pup and Suds? I couldn't find anything on him. Yeah. I could not find anything on him.
Sure, Gold. Yeah, he didn't do much. Like, his biggest thing is he was in the movie Accepted as a frat guy, uncredited.
Jeez.
Brody was in that too? Fucking Spike probably got in that role too.
Anyways, to get kind of back into the movie phrase, because I don't know how we ended up where we were. So Brink wins the competition, right? Like he barely escapes with a victory. Everybody's super excited. Soul skating lives on forever. And then Jimmy, the leader of the Xbladz crew, comes up and he's like, Brink, I've always had faith in you. I always believe in you. I'm giving you the chance to be the captain of Team Xbladz, where you can make all the decisions. You can like get all the people. I believe like Limp Bizkit guy or old 30-year-old guy that you called him with like spiky hair apologizes. Yeah, he says that, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't know Val was like that. When we all knew Val was exactly like that. And so Brink just denies the opportunity to become like the leader of Team Xbladz because soul skating is life and he's going to just live on like that forever. And then the movie just kind of like ends. Like it doesn't really give you anything else. Did anybody feel like that was kind of like the case?
Yeah, I wanted to hear a little bit more from the mom.
I thought that he was going to accept – I thought he was going to accept the offer and then bring his friends on. So
that's what I thought he was
going to
like
do. Soul skating and make money because I thought that would be the best deal.
Yeah, I thought that like the Boomer and the Soul Skaters were going to come together and be on the Xbladz. That's what.
So do we know if there was like a sequel to this where Boomer ends up being on Up and Suds?
I don't think Brink ever got like a sequel.
No.
Does it need it?
I think there was.
It did. I mean, maybe to like.
I would like to see like 30 years from that original to like now and see like where is Brinker at in his life? Is he still working at Pup and Suds? I don't know.
I thought that I was thinking that maybe there was gonna be like a romantic moment between Gabby and Pete. Like,
yeah,
fucking eat that 540.
There was some unfinished business there. Okay, so I looked up Brink sequel. Turns out there's an unofficial sequel that was made in 2011, just a short 23 minutes long. But the plot of the movie is Val kidnaps Brink's sister and challenges him to a rematch. How do we get a hold of this movie and how do we watch it?
So the sequel is
really
a big felony?
That seems canon. That really seems canon.
It's 100% canon. Yeah. It's unofficial, so I need to watch this. I don't even know where I would be able to watch this.
Is this fact checked?
This is on IMDb right now. I'm looking at it.
Damn, that's official. It does look like Gabby took a money shot from like an alien in that picture.
That's the cake, dude. That's the cake right there.
But yeah, I mean, I guess like that's it, man. Like that's kind of like Brink the movie overall. Do you guys have any like final thoughts of just like the movie in general, or anything that really like stuck out in regards to like themes or things that you really, really appreciated about it?
I think. Oh, I'll let Juan go first. I'll give Juan.
The movie was definitely a typical '90s movie, just with the fashion, the slang. I get even like like roller skating, because I can't think of any other time where roller skating was as popular as it was then. I guess just watching it as an adult, you definitely miss those adult themes and the background of the movie, like his dad being depressed and being a piece of shit and not having a relationship with Brink just for being a happy-go-lucky person. But I think this movie holds up pretty well. Like, yeah, maybe it's us looking at it with nostalgia and living through the age where we can resonate with it more. But I liked it. It holds up.
Carlos?
I like it. It was fun. It was very sunny. Being stuck inside, you'd see the beach, you see them skating. You're just like, I'm glad I'm not out there. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good time watching. I'd totally watch it all again. Xenon was probably hard to watch twice. But this was easy.
I think I want to change my mind about Juan being Jordy. I think Juan is the sister. Because I think she's
Juan's more of a Katie.
But no, like I guess you could say that the dad was like more relatable in the sense that like this whole disconnect where there was always just like, I can't fucking understand the goddamn word my son is saying. Why doesn't he speak English? Why is he so happy? Like that typical, like, just like shitty feeling dad that's just, but you always know that like in the end, you're my son. Like I think he says that when they had their talk, like, you're my son, so it's my job to care. And so like that breaking point where you see like, oh, he's not a complete piece of shit. He does want good for his family, but I think selfishly he wants it to be good while he has a job and is succeeding in life before everyone else is happy. I think that if he was not on disability and he was like having a good time at his job, I don't think he would have mind his son doing the whole skateboarding thing, because it was always like, oh, skateboarding's not a job, you're not going to get anything like anywhere with that. And it kind of relates to like that old saying, like, oh, like, you guys playing video games, it's gonna rot your mind, you're never gonna get anywhere. But now like you see like these fucking gamers making millions. So it was kind of like that in a sense, to where like in the 90s you see like, oh, you're not gonna do shit, and now like they have, I don't know, was the X Games big in 98?
The X Games are always big.
Okay.
Except for 2020.
Jesus.
That's the one sport that they should just be like, yeah, fuck it, go ahead.
Dude, Tony Hawk would be so pissed.
Mm.
Chase, any final thoughts?
I think this is the movie that makes Disney Channel movies big. I mean, you have other ones that are smaller, but Brink was the one that brought it in. Brink had something for everyone, and I think that's what got it started. Because Brink was in '98, and as soon as it started moving forward, I think kids our age were like, "Damn, Disney Channel's legit." This might have been the movie that beat MTV. We'll never know. I don't know.
So, are you saying that Brink birthed the future of Xenon, the 21st century?
Well, oh yeah, Xenon's 1 year after Brink, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Xenon's already being made. I think Smart House is already being made. I think Halloween Town's already being made at this time. I think.
But there are a bunch of movies being made, but there are people that don't want to release it.
Oh, well, I think
Brink.
you're right. I think this movie just brought it in for everybody. Like I said, it's this is the full. Even though we make jokes about it, it's really kind of this character's journey that goes from the beginning to end of like making a creed and like going to it, but then he has to break it because he has other factors like his family, and then he has to break it, but then he has his friends, and then at the end of the day he realizes that he just wants to be with his family and his friends, and like we all discussed, it's not, even though he's making money, it's like not what defines you, and then it's like I think overall I think this is probably like top 3 best Disney Channel original movie of all.
That phrase.
Yeah, like to kind of like, follow up with what Chase was saying. Like for me, when I think Disney classic original movies, this is one, if not like the top one for me that really stands out. Like this is one that I always revert back to. And when I say Brink, I could look at the people's faces, just like I remember Brink. Like I remember even talking to you guys about it, just like mentioning the word Brink, you guys are just like, yeah, I know exactly what it is. Even if you haven't watched the movie or remembered what it was about or remembered any pieces of the movie, you guys were always like, oh, hell yeah, like I know exactly what this movie is. I know what it's about. And then like that's what makes the rewatches so cool, is because we get to experience it again as like adults, because it's probably been like 10, 15 years since we've watched it. Granted, I actually watched this movie like 3 months ago when Disney Plus or like whenever Disney Plus became a thing, because like that was one thing that I think really excited a lot of people. It's like, hey, I got to rewatch all these Disney classic original movies. So it was actually really cool to watch it, probably for like the 6th, 7th, or 8th time for me. And it was really fun to just like really talk about it and like see how cheesy it is in retrospect, but also like how deep it is and like all these other themes that it brought on. So it was fun, man. Like I really had a fun time talking about it. So I think what comes next is like, first off, I sent you guys all just the link to Brink 2 Val's Revenge, unofficial. Like the second link is the one you want to look at because that's the one that actually has the audio. But I think we're up next is like, what movie does the Hijack crew watch next? And I think since Carlos got to choose last time around, Juan, you joined late, so you're going to be last. I'm thinking, Tony, you got to choose.
I thought we were going to let Carlos choose like we did last time where we let Chase choose.
No, Carlos
chose last time.
Brink.
Yeah, so then wouldn't he choose the one?
Oh,
that's true.
Okay, well, let's do that. Carlos, you got to choose who chooses.
Go ahead,
Jeff. Pick Tony.
Okay. I'm going to choose Tony.
Damn it. Such a hard
Did it, boys.
All right, Tony, what are you thinking?
Damn. First two movies that come to mind is Smart House or Luck of the Irish.
Ooh.
Yeah. But Halloween Town is so good too.
Oh my God, is he gonna throw a curveball? Because I'm really expecting him to pick one of those movies. This isn't rigged.
None.
I know it's hard, man. It's fucking hard.
It's like a monologue.
I know, man.
This is a 45-second tonologue.
Is this thing on? How much time do I got left?
You got like 10 seconds.
Oh. So anyways, like there's these 3 movies. I really liked them. And Their Days Are Cool.
We all know who you're gonna pick.
Smart House. Gotta go.
Smart House.
Gotta go with a Smart House.
It was gonna be Smart House either way.
I can't resist the dance scene. We gotta.
We knew it was gonna be Smart House.
We get Katie in this one. We get her again in the next one. It was only
double dipping.
Yeah.
Wait, have you watched this movie recently?
No.
I haven't watched it in a while.
I have watched Smart House recently. I'm safe to say I watched it about a week and a half ago. And guys, it is incredible.
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Literally, anyone listening to this podcast, if you made it to the end, just sit right back, turn this off. I know you don't got a lot to do because of the quarantine. Pop on the old Disney Plus, Smart House, get ready for the next week because it's coming.
Yeah.
Dang, zoom.
I'm excited. Yeah, dude. You're saying that you're gonna sneak the one of the songs in from Brink. I think at the end of every episode, do what you did and put zoom on every.
Dude, I'm gonna sneak in like did you guys also like get surprised too when I threw in that Disney Channel movie theme song? Because I knew there was one, I forgot what it sounded like, but then as soon as it hit, I knew exactly like the beats to it. Dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Disney original movie. Yeah. I got you.
It was good, dude. It was good. All right. Well, like I said, since we're closing this off, I figured I'd leave it off with another like quote from the movie itself. So I hope you guys woke up this morning and thought to yourselves, today are we going to talk or today are we going to skate? Thank you guys for listening.